Chapter 390. When Lin Zhen became a wanted criminal, he had already left the planet Aurora, rushed out of the atmosphere, and went straight to the satellite here. There is also a wormhole above the satellite. This wormhole leads to the satellite of Emerald Star, which hasn't been discovered yet. The technological civilization and cultivation civilization of Aurora is similar to that of Earth. In the eyes of the people of the Sky River Empire, it's even worse than Earth. Lin Zhen thought of the guard's face and laughed in his heart. Perhaps that guard, who had been acting like a tyrant on Aurora, had never suffered such a loss before. Beep. Master, please note that the Aurora Blue Bird City Police Department has listed you as a wanted criminal, and you are wanted all over the world. It's impossible for the arrest warrant issued by the police of this kind of indigenous planet to be transmitted to the entire Sky River Empire. It can only be used on their own planet. Lin Zhen smiled and didn't care too much. He will come back here later, and he will naturally solve this problem. Maybe this arrest warrant will be of some use. Soon, he arrived at the satellite here. This satellite is extremely cold, but Lin Zhen can resist 100 degrees of cold. He quickly found the wormhole and plunged in. After a few minutes, Lin Zhen appeared on the satellite of Emerald Star. This satellite is a desert planet. It doesn't even have an atmosphere, making it unsuitable for development and habitation. The wormhole is located in a hidden sand dune. Lin Zhen rushed out of the sand dune and flew towards the huge blue planet in the distance. That is the destination of his trip, located in the center of the galaxy more than 30,000 light-years away from Earth, the capital planet of the Sky River Empire, Emerald Star. Emerald Star is an extremely huge planet. 50% of the surface of the planet is surface water. It was once famous for its abundance of jade. The diameter of this planet is 20 times that of Earth, and there are 300 billion people living on it. People from various civilizations in the galaxy gather here, forming a capital with a complex ethnic composition. The whole planet can be said to be a city. There are no hostile forces here, only the poor and the rich, the upper class and the lower class, the strong and the weak. The royal family is the top figure of this planet, the nobles are the upper class, the citizens are the middle class, and the poor are the lower class of society. As for slaves, they were just tools to be manipulated. Many people who didn't have to worry about food and clothing chose to enjoy the joy brought by the dimensional universe here. They could live just by lying at home. Anyone who became a citizen was at least at the star realm and had a lifespan of 1,000 years. In the long days, they spent most of their time in the dimensional universe. In fact, many people lived in the dimensional universe and started their own families. This was a perfect world. One could watch dramas, watch matches, enjoy the delicacies and beauties of various civilizations, and even play games for hundreds of years. However, in the past few days, a small piece of news had been circulating in the small circle of the upper class. A warrior from the solar system, Lin Zhen, had won 9 consecutive battles. A mere 9 victories were not worth mentioning, but the opponent Lin Zhen had defeated was very strong. As long as you could provide him with a noble identity chip, 100 citizen chips or 10,000 pauper chips, he would be willing to fight for you. He promised you that he could defeat any Star Realm cultivator. This slogan was big and arrogant enough, but it was also eye-catching enough. Some people had already tried it and verified that this person's strength was indeed outstanding. In 6 battles, not only did he defeat Lyra Constellation's Meta, but he also defeated 5 super experts. Those who were worthy of the title of super expert were those who had won more than 100 consecutive battles in the arena. Many people even believed that this Lin Zhen had the strength to win 1,000 consecutive battles in the arena. However, there were also many people who were not convinced. They collected experts from everywhere to challenge Lin Zhen. In their opinion, there should not be an invincible general in this world. No matter how strong you were, there would always be someone who could restrain you. However, the person who could restrain Lin Zhen had not been found yet. "Brother Lin, have you arrived?" Shang Guanjiao excitedly asked Lin Zhen in the dimensional universe. "What? Have you prepared the Count title for the Crown Prince?" "Of course it's ready. We've already verified the wormhole you mentioned, and my father has already reported it to His Majesty." His Majesty Long Juetian was overjoyed. "Not only did he reward my father and me, but he also rewarded you. Because I said that you were the first to discover the wormhole, His Majesty has already agreed to give you the title of Count. He even felt that the title of Count was too low for you, and rewarded you with 1 billion Milky Way coins." 1 billion! Lin Zhen was overjoyed. "Haha, are you surprised? Kid, you are really good. Not only did you get the title of Count, but you also made a fortune. Even if you were on the Emerald Star, you would have no problem spending 1 billion galaxy dollars for 1,000 years if you were to be frugal." Lin Zhen was also very happy. He had indeed gained a lot in the past few days. He had won one battle after another. Not only had he made a name for himself, but he had also obtained the title of Count. He insisted on the title of Count because only with the title of Count could he give out a knight's chip. Without this title, he could not give out a noble's chip. After 9 battles, besides Midana, he had also obtained 4 nobles' chips, 200 citizens' chips, and 20,000 paupers' chips. He had to win a lot of chips in the next few days. When he returned to Earth, he hoped that he would have at least 1,000 citizens' chips and 100,000 paupers' chips. Of course, these were not enough. However, he could enter the dimensional universe at any time. There were still many opportunities to win chip. On the other hand, the 1 billion galaxy dollars was definitely a great reward. He had many things to buy, but he did not have the money. Now, he could put them on the agenda. "Crown Prince, I have arrived outside the Emerald Star. It's my first time here, so I am a little lost." "Ah, you are here. Kid, you are really fast. Come quickly. East of the Emerald Star. The coordinates are to come directly to the Shangguan Prince's mansion. Many of my friends and I are waiting for you here. Your Count's chip will also be given out here." Lin Zhen set the coordinates on the spaceship and started flying according to the coordinate. After about 20 minutes, Lin Zhen finally found the coordinate. The so-called Prince's mansion was actually a huge floating mansion. In other words, it was a huge castle-shaped spaceship that used energy blocks to power it. It floated there and could leave at any time. He drove the spaceship through the streets and arrived in front of the prince's mansion. Stepping on the void and walking down, Lin Zhen let out a long breath. He had been to the Emerald Star in his previous life. He did not expect that he would be here again in this lifetime. It was no wonder that citizens were at least at the Star Realm. It was difficult to walk in the void if one was not at the Star Realm. The people here strolled in the void just like taking a stroll in a park on Earth. Because the air in the sky was good, citizens were qualified to live in the sky. Most of the residences were in the sky. There were many places on the ground where the lower class lived. Lin Zhen arrived in front of the Shangguan Prince's mansion. Just as he was about to knock, the door opened. 2 rows of beautiful women, all of whom had reached the Star Realm, stood on either side of the door. They wore cheongsams with slits that almost reached their chests. They bowed to Lin Zhen in unison. "Greetings, Count Lin Zhen." Lin Zhen touched his nose. Even if these beauties were not at Yu'er's level, they were close. They were all top beauties from various races in the Milky Way. The 2 on the left had a hot figure, fair skin, and a furry fox tail behind them that could be retracted at will. They were beauties of the heavenly fox race. It was said that they had their own body fragrance and were born famous weapons. Their skills in bed were very good. They would be devastatingly beautiful on Earth. It was rare that they had cultivated to the Star Realm. The 2 on the right were slim and graceful. They had small pointy ears and long silver hair. They had the fragrance of flowers and plants. They were 2 fairy girls. The fairy race was born beautiful. They were good with bows and arrows and loved nature. These two were like the fox girls on the left. They were virgins at first glance. It was unknown how much money Shangguan Jiao had spent to get them. The few at the back were even from the mermaid race. Their long fishtails had turned into long legs. It was said that they could tighten on the bed and bring the highest pleasure to men. There were also two from the rabbit race, the shy lowly twins, and the one in the pink dress was actually from the flower fairy race. Walking past the pile of powder, there was a golden silk carpet in front of him that went all the way to the end of the hall. There were satellite realm guards standing on both sides. The tiger race, the rock giant race, the three-eyed race, the golden armor race. There were also exotic flowers and plants in the surroundings, their fragrance assailing his nostrils. In the clouds in the sky, the rainbow bridge kept flashing. Lin Zhen did not know how he had made it. This guy really knows how to enjoy life. He is indulging in a life of luxury. Even if he was reborn, Lin Zhen could not help but sigh. He walked all the way to the entrance of the hall. At the entrance of the main hall, Shangguan Jiao stood in front of the door, dressed in a noble's brocade robe. He was surrounded by a large group of high-ranking officials' children and friends. When he saw Lin Zhen coming over, he opened his arms and welcomed him with laughter. Ha 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 ha! Welcome, welcome, welcome our god of fortune. Welcome the #1 expert from the distant solar system. I, Shangguan Jiao's good brother, Lin Zhen. Our empire's count has graced us with your presence. Your presence brings light to our humble dwelling. The surrounding young masters also walked over while giggling. After interacting with each other in the dimensional universe for a few days, they were very familiar with Lin Zhen. Lin Zhen was indeed worthy of respect. He was very strong and was about to be promoted to the empire's count. Even among them, almost none of them had reached the count rank with their own strength. What was the most valuable in the galaxy? Capable people were the most valuable. Moreover, Lin Zhen could make them money. Naturally, they were willing to be friends with Lin Zhen. Lin Zhen smiled and greeted them. Then, he hugged Shangguan Jiao. Chapter 391. Faced with the enthusiastic Shangguan Jiao, Lin Zhen laughed and said, Crown Prince, I'm not a count yet. If you give me these beautiful guards, according to the Empire's laws, I'll have to go to jail. Oh, look at my memory, come on, you will be a count of the Empire soon. Shangguan Jiao pulled Lin Zhen into the main hall of the prince's mansion. After entering the hall, these playful playboys also quieted down. Shangguan Jiao came to the center of the hall, where there is a metal table with a golden box on it. After opening it, he took out a chip from it. According to the order of His Majesty the Dragon Ju Tian, this count's chip will be transferred to you by this prince. Lin Zhen, from today onwards, you will be a member of the nobility of the empire. I hope you can abide by the rules of the nobility, abide by the interests of the nobility, and protect the interests of the empire. After saying a few words, Shangguan Jiao walked in front of Lin Zhen and handed the chip to Lin Zhen. After dripping your blood, this chip will replace your original chip, and the authority will change, but you can choose whether to keep your original identity or not. Oh, can I still change my identity? Yes, I suggest you use a new artificial intelligence. After all, it is more in line with this system, and this identity can accompany you for a lifetime. Lin Zhen's brain turned slightly. He still doesn't want to replace an artificial intelligence. He had named Chris after Ning's initial name. He already had feelings for her, and as far as he knew, intelligent life forms also had feelings. If you treated them well, they would treat you even better. The more human-like they were, the more they could evolve human emotions. What's more, the identity of a count in the Sky River Empire is definitely not the end of Lin Zhen's life. He has a broader stage. Therefore, he intends to train Chris and let her accompany him all the time. I don't think so, I'm getting used to it. Oh. Well, this is your business, you have the final say. Lin Zhen picked up the chip and dripped a drop of blood into it. Soon, a ball of white light entered his mind. Crazy's voice rang out. A new identity chip has been discovered. It will overwrite the original chip system. Master's identity has been upgraded. New identity, Count of the Empire. Master, would you like to replace the artificial intelligence? Chris's voice sounded. Although it was still mechanical, Lin Zhen could feel a sense of sadness in it. No, I'll keep you, Chris. You'll always be with me. Ah! Master, are you really going to keep Chris and not replace her with a new AI? New AI lifeforms are more suitable for this system. I believe you can learn, Chris. Don't artificial intelligences have strong learning abilities? You should be able to do it soon. Thank you, Master. I will definitely study hard and become your best assistant. There was a clear change in Chris's tone. She was beginning to feel joy, anger, sadness and joy. Soon, Lin Zhen's pauper identity disappeared. What replaced it was his new identity, Count of the Empire, Lin Zhen. Following the change in identity, his information in the dimensional world was also changed. Unless it was someone with a marquis status or above, they could look up his previous information. Those with lower status than him did not have the right to do so. Shang Guanjiao handed Lin Zhen a card. This card contains the 1 billion Milky Way dollars reward that His Majesty gave you. The password is 111222. You can go to the bank now and transfer them to your card. Lin Zhen nodded and immediately entered the dimensional universe. With Chris's help, he arrived at the Jade Star branch of the Universe First Bank. Hello, sir. May I know what business you're looking for? The salesperson seemed to remember Lin Zhen and smiled at him. Transfer all the money in this card to my account. Lin Zhen handed over 2 cards. This time, he did not need to count the money. It should be done quickly. The salesperson took the cards and processed them, but then she let out a small cry of surprise. Ah! I'm so sorry, Count. I didn't know you were a noble. I was so rude. It's okay. I just got promoted. Okay, thank you for your understanding. Now, your account has more than 1 billion. According to the rules, you can be promoted to a gold member. Due to your noble status, your account can be promoted by 1 level. You can be promoted to a platinum member. Do you want to be promoted immediately? Are there any benefits? Of course. A platinum member can enjoy a 10% discount anywhere in the Empire. Also, you can borrow from the card and enjoy interest-free loans. The amount you borrow is the limit of the card. 10 billion Milky Way dollars. Lin Zhen's eyes lit up. What's the repayment period? 10 years. Promote me immediately. Lin Zhen was overjoyed. 10 years of interest-free loans. This was a gift from the heavens. The salesperson immediately processed the card for Lin Zhen. 5 minutes later, she handed the card to Lin Zhen. Then, she took the initiative to stand and salute Lin Zhen when he left. Lin Zhen left the hall. All the salespeople, including the lobby manager, stood up and saluted Lin Zhen. Whether it was a platinum member or a noble of the Empire, these 2 identities could enjoy this treatment. This was the first time Lin Zhen received such treatment in his previous life. He had to admit that this feeling was indeed different. After leaving the dimensional universe, Lin Zhen returned to the hall of the prince's mansion. Ah, our count is back. Come, in order to welcome you, I have prepared a sumptuous banquet. Let's not go home until we're drunk, Shangguan Jiao said as she clapped her hands. The beauties in Cheongsam started to file in, carrying all kinds of delicacies, wine, and delicacies. The liquid metal solidified into tables and chairs on the ground. Shangguan Jiao pulled Lin Zhen to sit down, and the 20-plus young masters also sat down. Come, with this ice spring wine from Indigo Bay Star, let's toast the count together. Come, Lin Zhen, I have given you a noble identity. If you don't drink with me, it won't be enough. Me too, me too. Although I haven't made any identity chips yet, I have hired you several times. You are too busy and your schedule is too full. I have never had a turn. Me too, me too. This time, Lin Zhen, you must help me fight. As long as you defeat my brother's gladiator, I will give you 200 citizenship at once. I only ask for priority. I don't want to tolerate him for even a day." In the face of these enthusiastic young masters, Lin Jun smiled and responded to them one by one. If he could agree, he would immediately agree. And those who had already made a deal all gave their chips to Lin Jun. Some who had not made a deal even took the initiative to give their chips to Lin Jun as a deposit. They already had a lot of trust in Lin Jun's strength. Lin Jun's hands were sore from receiving so many chips this time. After a while, the original goal was achieved. 1,000 citizens, 100,000 poor people. He was happy. This ice spring wine from Indigo Bay Star was indeed a good wine. Lin Jun accompanied the group to drink to their heart's content. After drinking, Lin Jun did not feel drunk. He simply entered the dimensional universe. With the help of the wine, he killed a wave of people in the arena and completed all the missions he received. It was not easy to meet an expert like Mita. The people Lin Jun encountered later basically did not need to use time acceleration. They were all defeated. This wave of killing made Lin Jun even more famous. At present, the upper circle of Emerald Star, among the young people in the capital had already mentioned Lin Jun's name. And the solar system, a name that had never appeared in the dictionary of the Empire, was frequently mentioned by people. "Brother, are you sure you don't want me to arrange a few beauties to serve you? Let me tell you, these girls were all carefully selected by me. None of them have been touched by a man before. You're a count of the Empire now, so how can you be the only one single? Taking in 180 women will better show off your status." Looking at the overly enthusiastic Shangguan Jiao, Lin Jun laughed. "Prince, don't make fun of me. It's not like I don't have women. There are still people waiting for me on Earth. If I bring these women back, I'm afraid I won't be able to bear the consequences. You can leave them here. You have money, so you should have a mansion on Emerald Star. Tell me if you like anything. I can help you choose." "Thank you for your kindness, Prince, but I have too many things to do on Earth. Let's talk about it after I'm done." "Okay, you decide. If you have any difficulties, come to me." "It's nothing for now. I will go back tomorrow." Shangguan Jiao and Lin Jun talked for a while. Since they could meet in the dimensional universe, Shangguan Jiao left after chatting for a while. After Shangguan Jiao left, Chris spoke. "Master, I have made a plan for you based on your current situation. You should go out immediately." "Go out? Where to?" "To spend money, of course," Chris said matter-of-factly. "You have money now. Money is worthless in your hands. You must spend it and turn it into strength." "I have the same idea, but where should I go? You know, I don't have much time. I have to go back tomorrow." "It's very simple. I have already checked the Emerald Stars store. You first need a secret spear technique, Sea Treader. This is something you must buy. You can pre-order it in the dimensional universe." "Okay, I will take this. What else?" "You need a bigger spaceship. Otherwise, this small spaceship might not be enough." "Why? I am alone. This spaceship is enough." "No, it is far from enough. You need to buy a large number of slaves." Chris spoke with assurance. "You are now a count of the Empire. There are many things that need to be done according to your status. Otherwise, you will be ostracized by the Empire's upper class. Slaves are needed by every noble. Even if you do not need protection, your family and your hometown need protection. Buying a group of powerful slaves will be enough to solve many of your worries. Then, let's go now?" "Of course. I have already checked. The slave market has recently received many powerful slaves. With my cooperation, we might be able to find treasures there." Lin Jun had not used slaves in his previous life, but his identity was different in this life. Under Chris's repeated persuasion, he was finally moved. Chapter 392. Lin Jun first ordered a secret manual of sea jumping online. The price of this book was 2 million Milky Way dollars, which was not too expensive. However, if it was converted into Earth currency, it would be 2 billion. It was not cheap either. After the secret manual chip was delivered, Lin Jun left the prince's residence. He might come to Emerald Star to buy a residence in the future, but not now. He still had to go back to Earth. After leaving the prince's residence, he used his astral power to fly. Chris guided Lin Jun to the Space Merchandise Hall. The Space Merchandise Hall sold things that were needed for space travel, but the most important thing was still spaceship. Earth's technology could not be compared to Emerald Star's. Lin Jun needed a good spaceship now. Under Chris's guidance, he arrived at the entrance of the Space Merchandise Hall. Wow! What a big entrance! The Space Merchandise Hall looked like a mountain. The entrance was unbelievably big. The width and height were both 10 kilometers. Moreover, there was only a door frame. There was no door at all. This was to facilitate the entry and exit of spaceship. If the door was small, some large spaceships would not be able to get out at all. Even so, some super-large spaceships could not dock in. For example, some cargo spaceships like Red Rose or some war weapons like the Sky City on Earth could not enter at all. Those spaceships could only dock in the open. Fortunately, Lin Jun did not need such a huge thing. When he entered the Space Merchandise Hall, there was an automatic scan. Lin Jun's identity was immediately scanned. "Welcome, Mr. Earl. Please feel free to look around." There was no need for a shop assistant here. Everyone's artificial intelligence was the shop assistant. They knew the price of all spaceships, their functions, and their preferential policies. "Master, spaceships will be your biggest expense at the moment. I suggest you choose a medium-sized spaceship. However, the weapon defense system must be advanced. You must know that if you encounter interstellar pirates in space, many experts may die in space if the spaceship is destroyed." Lin Jun nodded in agreement. During interstellar travel, distances were often measured in light years. If one were to rely on physical strength, even if they did not die of exhaustion, they might get lost, or encounter spatial turbulence, or encounter galactic beasts. Without a good spaceship, it was impossible. Other than the weapon defense system, speed is also very important. The faster, the better. Don't be afraid of spending money. Lin Jun walked among the huge spaceships and listened to Chrissy's detailed introduction. She also helped Lin Jun choose the most suitable one. When they arrived in front of a black spaceship, Chris said, "This is good. It's the latest Phantom X-99 series. It weighs 14 million tons and is a small war fortress equipped with railguns and void missiles. It has a maximum endurance of 800 years. It's a top brand for civilian use. How many people can it carry?" Lin Jun asked as he looked at the big guy that was 500 meters tall. "The maximum number of members is 5,000, and there is also an energy storage warehouse. The maximum sailing speed is 30 kilometers per second." Lin Jun calculated silently. The speed of this spaceship was about the same as the aircraft he had robbed. Although it had more firepower, it was not fast enough. "Let's see if there are any faster ones." "I'm afraid that's very difficult, Master. The spaceship you're driving now is already considered fast. Civilian spaceships can only reach this speed because of the advancement of technology. Only military spaceships can go faster, but that is prohibited." "Can't I be a noble?" "Master, although you are a noble, you are only a noble in name. You don't have any position or land, so..." Chris didn't finish her sentence, but her meaning was obvious. Lin Jun was just an empty noble. Lin Jun was a little depressed. Although he didn't want to hold any position, it would be good to have a land. A land could provide a noble with an endless supply of money. If the solar system was developed, it would be good to have the surrounding star systems as his own land. Just as he was thinking, Chris spoke again. "Master, there is a spaceship for auction in front." "Auction? Let's go take a look." Lin Jun walked a few steps and came to the crowd in front. A black spaceship was parked there. There was a huge painted skull on the spaceship, which was particularly eye-catching. What a pity, what a pity. Chris sighed and kept saying that it was a pity. What's a pity? It's a pity that this spaceship is so good. Master, this spaceship is not a product of the Empire's technology. It is from the Sanjiang Federation, and its technology is a grade higher than the Empire's. It is a sixth-generation spaceship of the Interstellar Hunter series. It was originally a command ship for the military. Then its performance must be very good. It is indeed very good. It is 4,000 meters long, 2,000 meters wide, and 300 meters tall. It has a maximum capacity of 30,000 people, a maximum endurance of 1,000 years, and a maximum speed of 1,500 kilometers per second. It is equipped with a large-caliber energy cannon, interstellar long-range missiles, and an A-grade protective shield. That's so good. Its speed is 5 times faster than the spaceship I robbed. Why didn't anyone buy it? There are several reasons. First, the energy consumption of this spaceship is very high. The energy consumption of a spaceship is a huge expense. Ordinary people can't afford it. Another reason is that skull. This skull is the symbol of an interstellar pirate. This means that this spaceship used to be a pirate ship. Aristocrats don't want to buy a pirate ship because it lowers their status and is considered inauspicious. Lin Jun raised his eyebrows. He was a little tempted. He had just become a noble and did not have the self-awareness of a noble. He really did not care about his status. He could also tell that a pirate ship, especially a captured pirate ship, was like a car on Earth that killed people. No matter how much money was offered, no one was willing to buy it. Chris saw through Lin Jun's thoughts and hurriedly said, "Master, don't be rash. You are now a noble of the Empire. Also, there is a disadvantage to buying a pirate ship. Those pirates are definitely not a single person or a small group of people. They are a large group. If the previous pirate owner of this spaceship still has friends, they will definitely want to snatch the spaceship back when they find out that it has been sold. That will cause trouble. This is also one of the reasons why people are not willing to buy it." Lin Jun thought for a moment. What was the original price of this spaceship? What is the current price? Originally, this spaceship was going to be sold for 3 river dollars. The selling price was 20 million 3 river dollars. If converted to Milky Way dollars, it would be 20 billion. However, this is a pirate ship that was seized by the Empire's military and auctioned off. The price was greatly reduced. It is only 10 billion. Lin Jun's platinum membership card allowed him to take out a loan of 10 billion. Since this spaceship was worth it, he decided to buy it. As for the trouble of pirates, Lin Jun did not think that it would be too much of a problem. For the time being, he was taking the remote interstellar routes and would not encounter any pirates. "I will go and apply for a loan." Lin Jun did as he said. He immediately entered the dimensional universe and applied for a loan of 10 billion from the bank. The repayment period was 10 years. Lin Jun was not worried that he would not be able to repay the money in the future. With the money in hand, Lin Jun immediately went to the spaceship sales office. "I want to buy this spaceship." "Ah, Count Lin Jun, are you sure you want to buy this Black Pearl?" "This ship is called the Black Pearl?" "That's right, it is called the Black Pearl. Look, there is even spray paint on the ship." The salesperson pointed at the hull of the ship. It was indeed spray painted with the words Black Pearl in the universal common language. It was very eye-catching. When Chris heard this name, she paused for a moment before hurriedly reminding Lin Jun, "Master, I just found out that the Black Pearl is a notorious pirate ship. The spray paint is made with high-tech materials. Unless the deck of the spaceship is dismantled, it cannot be removed. No wonder no one wants to buy it. You must not be fooled. Even if you want to buy it, you must extort more from them. Otherwise, they will not be able to sell it." Lin Jun nodded and then faced the salesperson. "So it is the Black Pearl. No wonder no one wants to buy it. It is even priced at 10 billion. Forget it, I will look at something else." "Don't, Count Lin Jun. This ship's performance is first class. It comes from the Sanjiang Federation. Even our empire's domestic spaceships cannot compare to it. 10 billion is already a price to jump off a building. Moreover, you are a noble, so you can enjoy a 10% discount. You only need to pay 9 billion to get it. Lin Jun seemed to be a little tempted, but he still shook his head. Of course I know I can get a discount, but I still feel like I am at a disadvantage. The spray paint on the skull and the words Black Pearl cannot be removed. When I walk in the universe, people will think I am a pirate. I am a dignified empire's count. This spaceship had been placed here for 2 months. Although people praised its performance, no one had the intention to buy it. After all, 10 billion was not a small sum. Every intelligent life would remind their master not to buy it. The salesperson was also a little anxious. He gritted his teeth and said, "Count Lin Jun, if you are willing to buy it, we will also give you 300 million worth of high-quality energy blocks. These energy blocks are enough to support your spaceship for 50 years in the universe. Otherwise, you will have to spend money to buy energy block." Lin Jun's heart moved. 300 million was not a small sum. Energy blocks were like gasoline in a car. No one could live without them. However, he felt that he could still bargain, so he pretended to be hesitant and considered it. Seeing that Lin Jun wasn't willing to budge, the salesperson became anxious and decided to add fuel to the fire. "Your Excellency, if you purchase this spaceship, we will also give you 10 slaves as a gift." 10 slaves. Lin Jun was stunned. This was not a slave market. That's right. 10 slaves who are proficient in piloting spaceships and using weapons. 2 of them have even reached the Xingzhou stage. The remaining 8 are at the satellite stage. What do you think? You will need at least 200 million to buy these 10 slaves from the slave market. In terms of spaceship piloting, they are definitely not as good as these 10 people. Deal. Lin Jun knew that this should be the other party's bottom line. It was impossible to bargain any further. The salesperson was overjoyed. Giving away 10 slaves seemed to be a bargain. He happily signed the contract with Lin Jun. Lin Jun handed over the money. After spending 9 billion, they immediately arranged for people to add energy blocks to Lin Jun's Black Pearl. While waiting, someone brought the 10 slaves to Lin Jun. Chapter 393. The planet stage was the second stage of the Eternal Realm. Below it was the satellite stage, and above it was the star stage. Planet stage cultivators were considered top-notch on most civilized planets. For example, Lin Jun had yet to discover any planet stage cultivators on Earth. It was possible that Yan Chia was a planet stage cultivator, but he couldn't be sure. Even Earth's top experts like Bihuai and Chen Fenglai were only in the satellite stage. They were nothing in the universe. However, the 2 slaves in front of him were both planet stage 8. The one on the left had long yellow hair that was tied into dozens of small braids. He had a pair of dark circles under his eyes that seemed to be natural. He didn't look strong and was a little effeminate. There was a hint of viciousness in his femininity. One look and anyone could tell that he wasn't a good person. The one on the right had 2 black horns on his head. He had messy hair and was about 2 meters tall. His muscles were unbelievably well developed, and his face was dark. Only his eyes were shining. There were 8 more people behind him, all of whom were planet stage 9. The salesperson was afraid that Lin Jun wasn't satisfied, so he pulled the effeminate man over. "Count, don't underestimate this effeminate man. The Empire paid a price to capture him. This guy is at the peak of planet stage 8 and is on the verge of a breakthrough. He can enter the planet stage 9 at any time if his chip is changed. He might even enter the star stage in the future. You'll make a killing if you buy him." In order to control slaves, the various countries in the universe had specially developed a kind of chip to control slaves. Once the chip was installed in a slave, the slave would be absolutely loyal to his master. The slave couldn't betray his master. If he had any thoughts of betrayal, the chip would automatically destroy him. Unless the slave broke through the black hole stage and reached the galaxy stage, they would have the ability to destroy the chip in their body. Therefore, black hole stage slaves weren't very popular as they could easily betray their masters. The salesperson even pried open the effeminate man's mouth. "Count, look at this guy's teeth. His body is in good condition. You can just give him some food." At this moment, Lin Jin suddenly interrupted him. "You said that the Empire wanted to capture him? Who is he?" Did I say that?" The salesperson still wanted to play dumb. "Don't play dumb with me. The AI system will record every word you say. Do you know the consequences of deliberately lying to a noble?" Lin Jin's expression became serious. The seller was just a citizen. If he really offended him, he even had the right to kill him on the spot. Of course, there had to be conclusive evidence. The salesperson's expression tensed up. "Calm down, Count. I'll tell you, this person was once a deputy of the Black Pearl, a subordinate of the famous interstellar pirate Slank. The Black Pearl is Slank's ship." "You're saying that these people are pirates?" "They used to be. Now they're just obedient slaves." The salesperson had an apologetic look on his face, but at the same time, he was secretly delighted. Lin Jin was also somewhat speechless. No wonder the other party was so generous as to give away these 10 slaves. It turned out that they were all pirate. If Slank were to find them, it would definitely be troublesome. These 10 pirates would be a hot potato in Slank's hands. It was hard to say whether one would be fooled or not. If it weren't for these troubles, the Black Pearl wouldn't be so cheap. Since he had already bought the spaceship, it didn't matter if he got these 10 pirate slaves. "What are your names?" Lin Jin asked. "I'm Ronnie, the deputy captain of this Black Pearl." The sissy spoke first. "I'm Shaq, also the deputy captain. The 8 of them are the pilots and weapons controllers." The big man with horns also spoke. Lin Jin nodded. Since he had already bought them, there was no way he wouldn't use them. He said to the salesperson, "Give me their main chip." The main chip that controlled the slaves was in the hands of the owner, who was also the sales supervisor here. The sales supervisor had been waiting here for a long time. He immediately sent the data of the main chip to Lin Jin. It was all done by an artificial life. Soon, Chris obtained the authority, and Lin Jin became the new owner of these 10 slaves. "You don't have to feel depressed. I'm a count of the Empire. Following me is at least much better than following those normal citizens or knight. I can say that other than me, there probably won't be any other high-ranking noble who would be willing to recruit you." Among the nobles, knights, barons, and viscounts were considered low-ranking nobles. Counts, marquises, and dukes were high-ranking nobles. Ronnie and the other 10 slaves nodded. Ever since they had been captured, they had become numb to fate. As for who they were with, it didn't matter. In the end, they were all slaves. Who knew if one day their master would be in a bad mood and execute them? However, this count in front of them didn't seem to be a bad person. Their days shouldn't be too hard. Lin Jin's lips curled into a smile. "You might think that your days won't be good, but I want to tell you that if you perform well, I might promote you to become a member of my Knight Corps and become a knight." Hearing Lin Jin's words, the 10 slaves' eyes suddenly lit up. Knights were the private soldiers of the nobles. They were also called subordinates of the nobles. Although their lives were still in the hands of their masters, they were no longer slaves in other aspects. They could get a salary from their masters, find women, and indulge in debauchery. Apart from having to absolutely obey their masters' orders, they had unlimited freedom in other aspects. Moreover, if something happened, their masters would support them. Only counts and above could have a knight corps. This was almost the limit of the slave profession. Ronnie said in disbelief, "Master, but we are pirates." "What are pirates afraid of? That's your past identity. It's nothing more than an additional black pearl. But, if Slank finds you, you'll be in trouble," Sark reminded. "It's fine. If I were afraid of a pirate, I wouldn't have bought the black pearl." Ronnie and the others looked at each other and knelt on the ground together, we are willing to pledge our lives to the Count. After being captured on an island like this, they were actually able to meet a master like Lin Zhen. It was a great fortune. They even had hope of becoming knights. They were very touched. After subduing these pirates, the energy blocks were also finished. Okay, Sir Count, you can now pilot your ship to gallop into the starry skies. In order to avoid bringing you any trouble, we've also covered up the logo and words of the Black Pearl. Although it's not very useful, at least it's not visible to the naked eye. Lin Zhen glanced at his ship. The skull and Black Pearl's logo were covered by a thin layer of deck. Although the poor quality of the deck seemed a little out of place, at least it wasn't that scary. After the transfer procedures were completed, Lin Zhen led his 10 subordinates onto the Black Pearl. Yeah, I'm actually back on this ship again. My favorite seat, I'm back. Ronnie sat down on his original seat and spun the chair round and round. The pirates were very excited. They returned to their familiar seats and touched here and there. Never in their dreams did they think that they would be able to return to the Black Pearl one day. First, drive the ship outside and find a place to park it. I still need to buy some slaves. Lin Zhen sat in Slank's old seat. It was a huge reclining chair that could be adjusted automatically. It could be used to sit or lie down. There was also a large fridge beside it that could store all kinds of food and drink. However, it was empty now. There was also a bathroom behind it. There was even a swimming pool in the ship. Leaning on the reclining chair, Lin Zhen sighed at this luxurious life. He gave the order. The pirates complied and immediately started the ship. After leaving the ground, the ship suddenly accelerated. With a whoosh, the ship flew out of the Space Museum and into the blue sky. It slowly glided in the air and finally landed on a nearby helipad. The helipad covered an area of over 1,000 kilometers. It was almost comparable to a small country on Earth. Ronnie said excitedly, "Master, I really want to drive the ship and take off immediately. The days back then were really carefree." "Don't worry, there will be opportunities. You guys wait here first. I'll go buy some slaves and then we'll leave." Ronnie and Shaq looked at each other. Ronnie blinked and then said to Lin Zhen, "Master, do you want to buy slaves?" "Yes, this ship is limited to 30,000 passengers. There are only 11 of us here. How can this little bit of popularity be enough? I can't be too shabby when I return to my planet." At this time, Shaq said in a low muffled voice, "Master, but the slave market is a black market. Those black-hearted slave traders are even more vicious than us pirates. They don't show any mercy when they slaughter people. Their slaves clearly don't have any abilities, but they can still praise them. People who go there for the first time will basically spend a lot of money for nothing." Hearing this, Lin Zhen asked Crazy, "What's the situation in the slave market?" "Master, the slave market doesn't have a standard price. Every slave is a different individual. They have different things and abilities. Even an artificial intelligence can't estimate the exact price. Not to mention, buying slaves is about fate. If you like them, it's easy to be slaughtered." Lin Zhen was also a small character in his previous life. Although he read a lot and knew a lot of things, he really didn't know how to buy slaves. At this time, Ronnie volunteered, "Master, how about this? Let the 8 crew members wait here. Shaq and I will go to the slave market with you. We're good at this kind of thing. We definitely won't let the slave traders cheat you." Lin Zhen nodded. Slaves were naturally loyal to him. He didn't need to worry about being cheated. Seeing Ronnie and Shaq working so hard, Lin Zhen also wanted to give them some rewards. First, he promoted them to become members of his Knight Order. Knights were high-ranking slaves that belonged to nobles. They wouldn't lose face if they went out with them. Only counts and above could confer them. He gave Crazy an order. Crazy was now a noble's artificial intelligence and had the authority to promote knight. She immediately promoted Ronnie and Shaq to become Lin Zhen's personal knight. From now on, Lin Zhen's words were greater than the law to them. Ronnie and Shaq didn't expect to become knights so quickly. Their eyes were already red. They knelt in front of Lin Jun, unable to control their emotions. Ronnie raised his head. Master, we are unable to repay your kindness. Look at our performance in the slave market this time. We know many people, and we will definitely pick the best out of the many slaves. We will make sure that every cent you spend is spent on the blade of the blade. Lin Jun nodded. He helped them up and led them out of the ship. Chapter 394. With Ronnie and Sark in tow, the three of them took Lin Jun's small spaceship to the slave market. Emerald Star had a population of 300 billion, and there were over 1,000 slave markets. Every day, people of other races were transported to Emerald Star from all over the Milky Way. Lin Jun was currently in the most prosperous area of Emerald Star. It was close to the Imperial City, and there was the largest slave market here, the Star Market. Not only was there a wide variety of slaves, but there were also many expert slaves for sale. It was the most popular place for officials and nobles to visit. When they arrived at the entrance of the slave market, Lin Jun felt as if he was participating in a large-scale gathering. At a glance, there was a sea of people everywhere. This was a real sea of people. The sea of people on Earth couldn't be compared to this at all. In order to attract customers, the slave traders used all kinds of method. It was forbidden to fly in the slave market, so they built a high platform to display the outstanding slaves in their hands on the big screen. It was really shocking to see. Lin Jun had just walked a few steps into the slave market when he was attracted by the first platform. The big screen on the platform was showing information about slaves. On the battlefield, a Star Realm general was fighting with the enemy. He commanded his soldiers to charge back and forth, separating and surrounding the enemy. He used the right tactics and finally defeated the enemy with a small number. Sword in hand, asked the world who is the hero. The sun was setting in the west, and the yellow sand of the desert. The general turned his head, and his blood-stained robe was fixed on the image of a hero. And that general was standing on the platform, waiting for people to choose. Ronnie and Sark looked at Lin Jun for a while with some worry. They were afraid that Lin Jun would be moved by compassion and choose this slave. That general was good on their planet, but he was useless in the universe. His strength was also low in the Star Realm. In their opinion, their master was too young to be able to buy a pirate ship like the Black Pearl. He was probably rich and willful. It was easy for him to fall into the trap of the slave traders. Unexpectedly, Lin Jun only looked for a while and got up to leave. He didn't have any intention of buying. Master, I thought you were going to buy this slave on a whim, Ronnie said. Why should I buy it? I'm not a savior. That general's personal strength is too weak. He's of no use to me. That's right, it's better to buy a beauty than that person. At least she'll be of some use. Sark added, his eyes constantly looking around, but most of his gaze fell on the beautiful women. Lin Jun had seen Sark's information. This guy was from the Pisces constellation. He was the leader of the villains on their planet, the leader of the demon race. He had robbed the most beautiful princess of their planet. As a result, the warriors of that planet rushed forward to save the princess, but they were unable to overthrow this cruel demon king. Later on, this guy became a little arrogant and actually challenged the god of their planet, which was actually the lord of the planet. In the end, he was almost killed. After escaping, he was subdued by Slank and became an interstellar pirate on the Black Pearl. As for the sissy Ronnie, he was a great magician on a magical planet. He was proficient in necromancy. His actions angered the gods of that planet. In the end, he was besieged by the masters of the entire planet. In desperation, he ventured into the interstellar. After wandering for hundreds of years, he also became a pirate. These two guys were accomplices of Slank. Who knows how many bad things they've done. When the Black Pearl was captured by the Sky River Empire, they became slaves. After walking for a while, Ronnie stopped and said, Master, I saw a group of guys with good strength. Where are they? Lin Jun was looking for slaves by himself. For a while, he really didn't have any clue. The asking price of these slave dealers isn't low. It's not easy to find the most cost-effective slaves in such a large market. This way. Ronnie led Lin Jun and Sark to a high platform in the distance on the left. There were about 1,000 slaves on the high platform. Each of them had a fierce look on their face. Among them, the leader was actually a peak 9th rank planet warrior, stronger than Ronnie and Sark. Lin Jun's eyes fell on the peak 9th rank planet warrior. He found that this person is also a spirit reader master. A 9th rank planet warrior spirit reader master is definitely a super master. If placed on Earth, it's enough to sweep the entire planet. Master, these people are all pirate. The leader is called Steven. His pirate group even snatched business from us. If it weren't for Slank, we wouldn't have been their opponents. Later, Slank drove them away. They have been active in the Virgo galaxy, but I didn't expect them to be captured. Ask about the price. Lin Jun took the two of them to the front of the slave dealer. Hey, how much are these slaves? Ronnie asked. After becoming knights, Ronnie and Sark both had the mark of a knight, but they didn't have a family badge yet. Lin Jun's time as an aristocrat is too short, so he hasn't thought about what kind of badge to get. To be able to become a knight, their master is at least an imperial count. The slave dealer doesn't dare to offend them. Although knights are also a type of slave, they are still high-level slaves. They are definitely more powerful than ordinary citizens. Respected knights, are you interested in these slaves? Our prices are fair and honest. Comet slaves range from 100,000 to 500,000. Satellite slaves range from 1 million to 5 million. Planetary slaves range from 10 million to 100 million. What about this one? 100 million. Ronnie pointed at Steven. If this one was sold for 100 million, it would definitely be worth it. A 9th rank planet warrior spirit reader master is worth 300 million. Oh no, this one is more special. He's a spirit reader master. 500 million. The slave dealer stretched out his hand. At this time, Steven raised his head. When he saw Ronnie and Sark, his eyes lit up. Aren't you two bastards Slank's subordinates? Wasn't the Black Pearl captured? Why are you still putting on airs here? Ronnie was defeated by Steven before and didn't want to lose face in front of him. He puffed out his chest and said, Steven, don't call us bastards. We are now noble knights. A lowly slave like you can't compare to us. If you dare to talk nonsense again, I have the right to slap you for 3 days and 3 nights. You won't be able to sell for a high price. The slave dealer was about to say something, but Lin Jun snorted from behind. When they saw Lin Jun, they immediately realized that he was definitely a noble and didn't dare to say anything. If a slave dared to offend a noble, they would have to bear the responsibility as slave dealers. If Ronnie really beat Steven up on the spot, they wouldn't dare to stop him. When Steven heard this, his eyes burned with anger, but he didn't dare to act rashly. As a slave, if he attacked, his master would immediately execute him. He didn't want to die. He gritted his teeth and said, How did you become knights? How could your master let trash like you become knights? You are just like me, pirates who have done all kinds of bad things. This is fate, Steven. Unfortunately, you won't meet a good master like us. Look, this is our master, the noble and great noble Earl Lin Jun. Not only did he buy us, he also bought the Black Pearl. As he said this, he revealed Lin Jun. The pirates looked at Lin Jun with burning eyes. He dared to buy a pirate ship. This noble had some courage. The pirates were naturally willing to follow a noble and become slave. They just didn't know if this noble would take a fancy to them. The pirates released the aura of the slaves to show their valiant fighting strength, hoping to catch Lin Jun's eye. The slave dealer suddenly became envious and took the initiative to come up. Earl Lin Jun, what do you think of these slaves? They are all incomparably strong. Buying them back to guard your territory will definitely not be a problem. Unexpectedly, Lin Jun shook his head. Pirates should be devalued in the slave market. Buying them will definitely cause some trouble. I don't want to spend a lot of money and get into trouble. Ronnie also added, That's right. These guys are notorious. Isn't buying them demeaning the master's status? Moreover, you are asking for such a high price. Then, 300 million for the leader, this is a fair price. No, this is definitely not a fair price. Stephen is only worth 50 million at most. How can he be more expensive than me? 50 million definitely won't do. Took a lot of effort to catch this guy. We can't even get our money back. At least 150 million. The slave dealer cried. Who doesn't know that the slave trade is profitable? Moreover, our master can't just buy one person. If you ask for such a sky-high price, we will leave. Ronnie secretly communicated with Lin Zhen in the dimensional universe. Here, he was bargaining with the slave dealer. While belittling Stephen's group, they haggled over the price. This method was quite effective. Okay. 100 million, this is the bottom line. However, the Earl wants to bring all these slaves back. The price is, in the end, both sides reached an agreement. There were a total of 1,000 Comets-level slaves for a total price of 30 million. 100 satellite-level slaves for a total price of 150 million. With Stephen and the other 2 level 6 planet warriors, the total price was 160 million. The total price was 340 million. Lin Zhen bought more than 1,000 pirate. This price was really cheap. After deducting Lin Zhen's discount as a noble, it was only slightly more than 300 million. After borrowing 10 billion and spending 9 billion to buy the spaceship, plus the 1 billion reward from the Empire, Lin Zhen still had a little more than 7 billion. Looking at the expectant gazes of Stephen and the other 2 planet realm cultivators, Lin Zhen smiled and said, Since you're all my people, I won't be biased. The 3 of you will become members of my Knight Legion. Chris activated her authority and promoted the 3 of them to knights. Lin Zhen then said to the other pirates, You guys have to work hard too. I won't treat slaves harshly. As long as you enter the planet realm, you can become a knight. Thank you, Master. Thinking of being able to pilot the Black Pearl and having the hope of becoming a knight, these pirates were full of enthusiasm. Lin Zhen walked in the slave market with more than 1,000 people, attracting the attention of many people. Some people felt that the noble had no taste. With these slaves who were obviously not good people, how could he invite people to his territory as guests with such a lineup? It was simply a bandit's nest. Some people thought that the upper-class circle would definitely ostracize this noble. Chapter 395. It wasn't easy to choose high-quality slaves, especially when bringing a large group of people with him was too conspicuous. Lin Zhen thought for a moment before having Ronnie bring these people back to the Black Pearl, while he took Shaq for a stroll. Ronnie was still a little worried when he left. Sark was not someone who could bargain. Not long after Ronnie and the others left, Sark suddenly stopped. Huh! What's wrong? Lin Zhen asked. I think I met a group of acquaintances. Sark pointed ahead. On a platform, several slave traders were selling hundreds of slaves. Among them, 2 girls were especially beautiful. They even had pure white wings on their back. They looked pure and holy. Don't tell me you've taken a fancy to the beauties? Lin Zhen teased him. Unexpectedly, Sark acted out of character this time. Even if I like beautiful women, I wouldn't like these 2. They are my mortal enemies. When I was chased out of my hometown, it was their clan that did it. They are both lackeys of the God of Light, cherubs of the Angel clan. Sark's eyes were a little red as he spoke. The sharp fangs in his mouth rubbed back and forth, as if he hated the angel race very much. The few of them came to the front of the crowd. Lin Zhen looked at the 2 angelic girls. They were indeed extraordinarily beautiful, but their realm was not bad. They were both satellite grade 7. The slave trader was shouting with all his might. Everyone, quickly come and take a look. These are angelic girls from the Pisces constellation. They are pure-blooded and as beautiful as flowers. They are definitely virgins. If you bring them home to warm your bed, they will definitely be worth it. One for only 50 million Sky River dollars. If you buy both of them for 90 million, you can take them away. What do you think, big brother? Why don't you do it? A few million satellite grade 7 slaves was considered normal. These two for 90 million was definitely a high price. Of course, it was because of their beauty. However, no one who came to the slave market was a fool. Even if they wanted to buy, they would feel that the price was too high. Sky River dollars had a very strong purchasing power. 90 million Sky River dollars was equivalent to 90 billion Sky River dollars on a normal life planet. It was not worth it to buy two beauties that did not have much practical value. The two angelic girls lowered their heads and did not say a word. Their beautiful eyes were dull, as if they had completely lost hope in the future. Lin Zhen had originally planned to leave after taking a look, but he didn't expect Shaq to be unable to hold back. He ran in front of the two angel girls and took the initiative to taunt them. Let me see who these two beauties are. Aren't they the most beautiful and pure twin angel sisters under the God of Light, Big and Little Angel? How did he end up as a slave? TSK. This is retribution. The angel sisters heard a familiar voice and slowly raised their heads to see Sark's big head with demon horns. Sark, you're the demon Sark. The angel sisters showed a frightened expression, as if they had been frightened by something. However, they quickly realized that this was no longer their planet. Sark couldn't do anything to them. That's right, I'm Sark, but I'm now a noble's knight, while you two, hypocritical light gods, are now nothing more than slaves. What? How could a person like you become a knight? Big Angel looked at Sark in disbelief. She couldn't imagine what kind of noble would use such a person. Kaki. Our master's greatness isn't something hypocrites like you can imagine. Right? Where's that repulsive bastard of your light gods, Blazing Angel Jason? Is he dead? Sark had been chased into exile by Jason, so he naturally hated him to the bone. He wanted to ask about his situation. Unexpectedly, the two angelic girls' eyelashes suddenly drooped. The divine light race no longer exists. The divine light god and another god, an expert, died in battle. Our divine race has been captured and enslaved. Jason is also in this slave market. Aha! That guy became a slave too? That's really a pleasant surprise. Sark was so excited that he danced with joy. Lin Zhen suddenly looked at the slave trader. These two angels, I'll buy them for 60 million. The slave trader was stunned, but seeing that Lin Zhen was about to leave if they couldn't reach an agreement, he gritted his teeth and said, "Deal." Seeing Lin Zhen take the two angel girls' microchips, Sark quietly said, "Master, 60 million is a bit expensive. If you're talking about beauty, I know many races that are rich in beauties." Lin Zhen ignored him and said to the two angel girls, "Take me to that Jason you're talking about." The two angel girls were overjoyed. Little Angel said, "Master, do you want to buy Jason? We'll take you there. He's not far away." Sark was a little dumbfounded when he heard this. He said to Lin Zhen, "Master, Jason is definitely an inflexible, boring, brainless bastard. If you buy him back, he'll definitely—" Lin Zhen turned his head. "Are you afraid of him?" "I can't beat him," Sark blankly replied. "That's good. If I rely on you bastards in the future, who knows how much trouble you'll cause me in the future. I can't just be greedy. I need an expert who can stand on the stage. I'm relieved that you're afraid of him." 10 minutes later, Lin Zhen arrived at a high platform under the guidance of the Angel Sisters. During this time, the Angel Sisters carefully erected their wings to shield Lin Zhen from the sun. Coupled with their flower-like appearances, Lin Zhen couldn't help but sigh. They were indeed angels who served the so-called gods. You get what you pay for. There was definitely a reason. Lin Zhen also gave the two angel sisters the status of knight. He intended to keep them at home to take care of his parents. Of course, their status was higher. As a count, he could afford to have more than 1,000 knights. On the high platform, there was a particularly conspicuous slave with 6 wings on his back. His appearance was like a cold marble sculpture, and his eyes were closed. Even so, this person's powerful aura still spread out. The surrounding slaves didn't dare to approach him. He was actually a stellar level one. Stellar level experts didn't appear so easily. Lin Zhen came in front of the slave trader and communicated with him. The slave trader immediately bowed to Lin Zhen in fear and trepidation. How much is this slave? I don't like to bargain, and I don't like to be cheated. I hope you can give me a realistic price. The slave trader was a little distressed. Lord Count, if it were someone else, I wouldn't say this. However, I don't dare to lie to you. If this blazing angel is sold normally, the price should be around 3 billion. However, this guy has a bad temper and seems to have no attachment to life. A few people wanted to buy him, but he rejected them. Rejected? A slave can reject? Isn't that so? This guy doesn't want to live anymore. He wanted to commit suicide a few times. We're almost losing money by buying him. If you have the ability to subdue him, I'll give you a fixed price of 1 billion. Lin Zhen nodded. There was no comparison between stellar level and planet level. It was normal for the price to be tens or even hundreds of times higher. 1 billion wasn't expensive at all. The angel race was blessed by the heavens. They were natural spirit readers, light element controllers, and had wings. They were a powerful combat race among those of the same level. Deal. Lin Zhen resolutely chose to buy. The slave trader was overjoyed. He immediately handed over the management rights through the artificial intelligence. After Chris was done, Blazing Angel Jason opened his eyes. Blazing white holy flames exploded around him. He seemed to be tired of this wandering fate and actually wanted to self-destruct. Lord Jason! The angel sisters shouted at the same time. Jason's self-destruction process stopped. Angel sisters who serve the god of light. You? Why are you here? Are you knights? Jason looked at the angel sisters in disbelief. In his opinion, the fate of this pair of sisters should be very tragic. Yes, Lord Jason. Master gave us the identity of knights. Master is very good. He is willing to take us out of the sea of suffering. You have been bought by Master. Come with us. Jason looked at Lin Zhen. Lin Zhen released the power of light at the right time. He, who resonated with light atoms, was very amiable at this moment. Jason was obviously moved, but he still said in a low voice, "But I am a blazing angel under the god of light. I was born to fight. Now I have no place to be used." Lin Zhen thought that with the angel sister's appearance, it would be easy to recruit Jason. He didn't expect this guy to be a little depressed. The little angel blinked. Lord Jason, Master has a lot of bastards under him. Look, Sark is also here. More than 1,000 pirates are Master's subordinates. Don't you think you should help Master control these bastards? Sark. Jason's eyes lit up. His gaze fell on Sark, who had been cowering behind Lin Zhen. It's really you. A demon like you can actually become a knight. Damn it, I will teach you a good lesson. You can't. I am Master's knight now, Sark said weakly. Jason also realized the change in his identity. At this moment, he also found his direction. His clansmen were still there, and there was also a group of bastards. His sense of mission made him feel that he couldn't let go. Moreover, Lin Zhen seemed to be a good master. Jason is willing to pledge my life to Master. I guarantee that these pirates won't cause trouble. Lin Zhen didn't expect that the one who ignited Jason's fighting spirit in the end would be Sark. This was a lucky hit. 1 billion galaxy dollars to buy the next stellar stage telekinesis master. Lin Zhen had made a profit. He happily helped Jason up. In that case, I will give you the identity of a centurion. Lin Zhen had more than 1,000 knight slots. He could have 10 centurion and 1,000 knight, which was the leader of the knights. Jason's expression changed. I won't let you down, Lord. At this point, Lin Zhen was finally satisfied. With Jason, he finally had someone he could use as a subordinate. The group returned to the Black Pearl in a small spaceship. When Lin Zhen brought Jason and the others onto the Black Pearl, they realized that the place was already a mess. Stephen, Ronnie, and the others were adjusting the firepower system. They were planning to go out and do something when they returned to Lin Zhen's hometown. In their opinion, Earl Lin Zhen might have bought this group of pirates because he had made up his mind to rob them. After all, there were bastards among the nobles. Chapter 396. I've written many thank you letters, but this is the one with the deepest feelings. There may be many old readers who know me. Of course, there are more new readers who don't know me. I can be considered half a new face. He too has left the web literature circle for 3 years. The books that he tried before weren't very good. When he wasn't writing, he was also learning. Back then, when he wrote about the Abbot of Shaolin in the 80s, it was an inspiration from Hey Tuesday. Although he wrote well, Hey Tu always wanted to write about fantasy. The fantasy genre that he wrote before was also not good. Originally, Hey Tu thought that I might not write again. The person I should thank the most for being able to come back this time is my editor, Master Qinghu. He found me and talked to me about writing, which led to the appearance of this book. It can be said that without my editor, there wouldn't be this age of universal evolution. Many readers may have also found that this book is somewhat similar to the setting of Engulfing the Starry Sky by the Tomato Guru. In fact, this is also the result of a discussion with the editor. It was the editor's suggestion to borrow the world structure of Engulfing. Here, Hey Tu wants to make one point clear. Borrowing is not the same as plagiarism. For example, the leveling system and world structure of Xianxia are all the same, but no one said that it was plagiarism. Why? It's because everyone recognizes this model, so they feel that it's normal. There are very few people who borrow from Engulfing, so they feel that there are similarities. What is the definition of plagiarism? I hope that some people can understand it before saying it. If you think it's plagiarism, please point out which line and which paragraph. If you point it out, I'll delete the book. If you can't point it out, don't say it like that. That's too ignorant. Of course, I also want to thank the readers for their support, subscriptions, and vote. This is all the motivation for Hey Tu to move forward. I don't want to say anything too emotional. It's too fake. I can only say one thing. This book will not have a bad ending. It will not be unfinished. I will write a wonderful ending. The future world is very big, and the story is very long. If you are willing to support, I will work hard to repay everyone. Chapter 397. When Stephen and the others saw Lin Zhen come in, they wanted to say something, but when they saw Jason behind Lin Zhen, they suddenly stopped. Ronnie looked as if he had seen a ghost. Sark, isn't this Jason, your sworn enemy who was suppressing you? Yes, but now he's our centurion. Ronnie stopped talking, and even Stephen had a constipated expression. This Jason was not easy to get along with, and the aura he exuded was undoubtedly very strong. Looking at that marble sculpture-like face, he was definitely a stubborn old antique. With such a guy as the centurion, their days would not be easy. Jason's face was also tense, and there was no trace of a smile on his face. He solemnly said to the group of pirates, "Our Earl is busy, and doesn't have much time to take care of you. But as long as I'm around, you can forget about causing any trouble. Put away your old tricks as soon as possible, or I won't mind taking care of you on behalf of Master." The scene suddenly became quiet. It was absolutely irrational to reorganize with a strong person, especially when this strong person was their boss. Lin Zhen did not care. These pirates needed someone to manage and supervise them, and Jason was just right. Lin Zhen had also completed the reorganization of these pirates. Among them, the Comet Stage pirates were all crew members responsible for the maintenance of the spaceship, navigation, and combat. They were all familiar with the job, and could take up the post directly without any training. The Centurion Stage pirates were Lin Zhen's guard team, which was also a combat team. They were all led by Lin Zhen's direct knights. Jason was the centurion, and more like a butler, restraining the pirates' behavior. Of course, Jason would not care about small things. As the only star-level expert in the team, Lin Zhen gave him a higher requirement, which was to cultivate. It was impossible to suppress the pirates' nature too much. Lin Zhen needed strong subordinates, not a group of sheep. Okay, our business on Emerald Star is done. Now, let's set off and return to my hometown. Master, how far away is your hometown from here? About 30,000 light-years away. 30,000 light-years, then wouldn't it be impossible to travel all the way to your death? Let's go through the wormhole. We'll set the coordinates now. Let's go. Lin Zhen closed his eyes. Ronnie and the other original members of the Black Pearl immediately started the ship. The spaceship left the ground, and the feeling of weightlessness came over. The energy blocks started to burn, and with a burst of acceleration, the spaceship charged out of the Emerald Star's atmosphere. It had to be said that the performance of the spaceship was superb. It took 2 minutes to reach the satellite of the Emerald Star. Then, it entered through the wormhole in the sand dune. Rushing out of the grotesque wormhole, they had arrived at the moon of Aurora in the Virgo constellation. Wow! I've come to the Virgo galaxy so quickly, and now that I know the route of a wormhole, I can consider robbing Emerald Star in the future. If I use this wormhole, I'll definitely be able to shake off the Imperial Army. Ronnie shouted and then suddenly turned to Stephen. Stephen, I remember that you are active in the Virgo system. Stephen nodded. That's right. Our crew has always been active in the Virgo system. We are even wanted criminals on the 12,000 life planets here. Well, everyone is. Stephen's pirate crew had been wiped out by the Imperial Army, and all the original crew members had been bought by Lin Zhen. He did not expect that his first battle would be to return to this part of the galaxy. It was quite emotional. As he spoke, he pointed ahead. Look, that planet in front is called Aurora. We were caught because we robbed this part of the galaxy too ruthlessly, including Aurora. We came here 30 years ago. This planet is a federation of 4 countries. The senators are all a bunch of good-for-nothings. They are greedy and cowardly. They can do anything with money and power. Change your clothes. Don't wear pirate clothes anymore. Wear the uniform. Lin Zhen ordered a batch of clothes before he left. It was a purple uniform with golden edges. There was a round badge on the chest. The badge was embroidered with a dragon, the China dragon. This was the family badge that Lin Zhen came up with. At first, he wanted to use some huahua grass, but in the end, he decided to use the dragon. This was the symbol of the Chinese people. After his rebirth, he hoped that the people of Earth, especially the Chinese, could achieve something in the galaxy. There was nothing more representative than this dragon. Hearing Lin Zhen's words, everyone changed their clothes. The slaves' identities were crew members. Because Lin Zhen was a high-ranking noble, their clothes also had the family badge, so they were not discriminated against. The spaceship flew at a speed of thousands of kilometers per second. The starry sky quickly passed behind them, and soon they were close to Aurora. When they arrived at Aurora, the spaceship slowed down and slowly passed through the atmosphere. Slow down a bit. Give Aurora's radar time to scan us. Earth has experienced an invasion. Lin Zhen didn't want to rush in rashly. He tried not to cause panic among ordinary people. Aurora is tens of thousands of light-years away from Jade Star. It's a remote planet that has never experienced a major war. Being robbed by pirates is the most painful memory. Even the tax department of the Sky River Empire is reluctant to come to such a remote planet to collect taxes. The taxes are all paid through the dimensional universe. Therefore, when Lin Zhen's spaceship entered half of the atmosphere at the speed of a turtle, Aurora's radar captured the spaceship's entry. Reporting. An unidentified flying object has entered our atmosphere. The radar operator reported to his superior in horror. When the commander of the City Defense Force saw the Black Pearl, He suddenly started sweating. Did they see another interstellar pirate coming to Aurora? My God, why is Aurora so unlucky? They were robbed 30 years ago and now they're here again. Immediately connect the other party, see who is calling us. I'm going to report to the federal parliament. The radar operator immediately tried to communicate with the Black Pearl, while the commander reported to the federal parliament. At this time, the federal parliament was in a meeting. When they heard an emergency, they immediately connected. Members, an unidentified spaceship has entered the atmosphere of Aurora. We don't know the performance and model of this spaceship at all. The only thing we can be sure of is that it's definitely far beyond the technological level of our planet. I'm a little worried. Should we intercept or attack it? At this time, the signal on the radar was also connected, directly connecting to the situation on the federal parliament. A communication signal came from Aurora. Stephen, you should come, you are familiar with this place. Ronnie showed a smirk. Although they can't rob anymore, it's good to let Stephen, a pirate, scare the people of Aurora. Stephen nodded, tidied up his clothes, and came to the big screen. Behind him, there are 2 other pirates. They are all activists who robbed Aurora in the past. Almost everyone in Aurora knows about them. They are the typical image of a devil. The 3 of them stood in front of the big screen. The big screen flashed twice, and the Aurora Parliament Hall appeared on the opposite side. All 30 members were inside, looking at Stephen and the others with a dumbfounded expression. Hi. It's been a long time. Dear members, I, Stephen, am back. Do you still remember me? The meeting room was suddenly silent. There was no sound at all. Stephen frowned slightly. Why are you so forgetful? It's only been 50 years, and you don't remember me? Wow. It's Stephen, the pirate. It's him. That's right, I remember this face even in my dreams. And the golden eagle and silver eagle behind him. Those are his claws. It's over, it's over. Misfortune has come to Aurora again. I heard that this guy was caught by the Heavenly River Army. How did he appear again? The room was suddenly in a panic. These members of the parliament hid everywhere, and they couldn't wait to crawl under the table. Stephen originally thought that his attitude was very good, but looking at these members of the parliament, he said angrily, "What are you doing? I'm no longer a pirate. Look at my uniform badge. I now belong to the Empire's Earl Linjen. I'm his knight. Don't look down on me, you fat guys." What? Empire's Earl? Linjen. Go and find out what's going on. A courageous councilman stood up and forced himself to remain calm. At this moment, Linjen also appeared on the screen. I'm the Empire's Earl Linjen. Don't panic. My spaceship won't cause any harm to you. After Linjen came out, a member of the parliament suddenly shouted, I know this guy. He's a wanted criminal. Greenbird City Lord, are you sure? The chairman, who was already at the head of the table, asked hurriedly. My spaceship has confirmed it. Hurry up and check the arrest warrant from 2 days ago. He's a wanted criminal on the Aurora planet. He stole secrets and whatnot. I still remember his name. It's Linjen. Someone hurriedly retrieved the information and found that Linjen was really a wanted criminal of Aurora. Moreover, his identity was shown to be a pauper. Linjen looked at the chaos on the screen and frowned. Just as he was about to explain, Ronnie suddenly said, Master, the tropospheric wind on this planet is a little strong. It scraped off the 2 shields we installed. Scraped off? What's the impact? It doesn't affect the performance at all. It's just that the words Black Pearl and the skull are exposed. Linjen closed his eyes. This time, it was even more difficult to explain. Originally, he wanted them to go to the dimensional universe to verify his identity. However, the commander of the City Defense Force suddenly interrupted the screen. Members, this is bad. We've discovered the true identity of this ship. It's a notorious pirate ship, the Black Pearl. We've verified a few people on the ship. They're all pirates. That Lin Zhen should be the pirate leader." The parliament members were so frightened that their faces turned pale. "It's over. They're really pirates," the speaker screamed in horror. "Then what's wrong with your army? Hurry up and shoot him down." The parliament members, including the chairman, gave orders while fleeing in panic. The painful lesson of being robbed by pirates 30 years ago was still vivid in their minds. They must immediately find a safe place to hide and report the situation. They still have hope. Since the robbery, a baron of the Sky River Empire was stationed in this starry sky. He also has a group of powerful guards under him. There's even a captain of the guards at the planet realm. The baron is the local tyrant of this starry sky. Chapter 398. Looking at the flying saucer fighters on the planet below and the weak cannon fire, Lin Zhen shut off the communication in annoyance. "Damn it. Stephen, you're right about one thing. These people are a bunch of good-for-nothings. They're so scared that they've lost their judgment. If I were the leader of the pirates, would I be so polite to them? They actually dare to fire at my spaceship. They're courting death." The surrounding pirates were even more excited. They originally thought that they wouldn't have a chance to fight after following the nobles, but they didn't expect that the pigs on this planet would dare to offend them. Offending the nobles was a serious crime, and they had a legitimate opportunity to take action. "Master, do we fight back? Their missiles and anti-aircraft cannons are attacking our spaceship. Don't damage our precious spaceship." The Black Pearl was indeed precious. The spaceship was originally priced at 20 billion Skyriver dollars. If it was converted to Earth's money, it would be 20 trillion. It was unknown if the entire world had that much money. At this moment, Ronnie said, "They won't be able to destroy it. Our spaceship has enough energy blocks now. They won't be able to break through the protective shield. Even without the protective shield, with their firepower, we won't be able to move and they'll attack us for decades. That won't do. This is a matter of dignity. Master's face is the most important," Stephen replied righteously, winking at Ronnie. Before Lin Zhen could answer, Jason, who had been standing behind him, spoke. "Master, do you want me to go out and kill everyone on this planet?" Lin Zhen was stunned. "What did you say?" "They have offended Master. This is absolutely intolerable," Jason answered righteously. Lin Zhen held his forehead. He thought that Jason was the most reliable, but he forgot that this guy's previous master was a self-proclaimed god. As a star-level cultivator, he didn't care about the life and death of low-level life forms. Lin Zhen obviously couldn't kill everyone on planet Aurora. He still wanted to use this place as a transit station. Even if Earth were to face some danger one day, he would rather use Aurora as a battlefield than Earth as a battlefield. "Destroy those UFOs for me, and then destroy all the firepower points that are attacking us. Can you do that?" Lin Zhen asked Ronnie. Ronnie immediately nodded. "Don't worry, Master. The firepower of our Black Pearl is child's play against these city guards. Just watch me." The lower deck of the Black Pearl opened, revealing some cannon muzzles. Outside was a layer of pale golden protective shield. Aurora's defensive cannons and missiles bloomed inconspicuously outside, and almost no sound could be heard. "Counterattack! Fire!" After all the cannons were set up, Ronnie gave the order, and the crew took control of the cannons. The radar on the Black Pearl had already set a target for them, so they would not waste energy and would strike accurately. Laser cannons shot out from the muzzles. These laser cannons did not cause pollution or smoke, but their power was 100 times stronger than rail cannons. In an instant, tens of thousands of shots were fired, and the entire world fell silent. Only some UFOs' wreckage fell from the sky, and the firepower net on the ground had all been extinguished. "Okay, Master. The enemy's attack power has been completely destroyed. Next, whether you want money or women, it's up to you." The angel sisters behind Lin Zhen stared fiercely at Stephen, Ronnie, and the others. In the eyes of the two kind sisters, these people were villains. Lin Zhen also coughed. It's best if you restrain your habits. You are no longer pirates. Next, I think it's time to have a good talk with the big shots of Aurora. The Black Pearl accelerated and instantly arrived at Aurora's capital, Giant Elephant City. Those high and mighty counselors were having a meeting here just now. When the huge interstellar battleship arrived above Giant Elephant City, the people who were watching the live broadcast ran and hid in panic. In their eyes, disaster was coming. Stephen shouted through the ship's loudspeaker system, "All the ordinary people do not have to worry. Our great Count Linzhen will not harm you. We just want to see the leaders of Aurora. Counselors, come out." Seeing that Linzhen and the others did not attack, the ordinary people gradually quieted down. If it was a disaster, running would be useless. However, those counselors did not come out. They had all hidden somewhere. Ronnie was a little annoyed. "Ungrateful fellows. Can't you find them just because you hide?" "Master, I will soon be able to use the ship's life scanners to scan the location of these counselors. Even if they hide underground, I will be able to dig them out." The life scanners on the Black Pearl were more powerful than those in Sky City. They quickly locked onto the location of these counselors. "Shout again. Have them come out." Linzhen ordered again. Ronnie kept shouting, but after shouting for more than 10 minutes, these counselors were still hiding like turtles. Linzhen also lost his patience. "Go catch them." The strongest person on this planet was only a level 9 satellite. They did not even have a planet week. There was no way they could compete with Linzhen. Just as Shaq was about to bring people to catch them, the Black Pearl suddenly alerted them. "Attention, a spaceship is approaching quickly. Current distance, 100,000 kilometers. Linzhen waved his hand to stop Shaq. No wonder these counselors did not come out. It turned out that there were reinforcements. Well, there was someone who could speak normally. This was in line with Linzhen's plan. The Black Pearl waited for about 10 minutes before the other party's spaceship finally appeared in their field of vision. Baron Bill was the governor of this starry sky. He lived on a small planet. When he heard that pirates had appeared on Aurora and that Stephen had returned, he braced himself and came over. Stephen was a level 9 planet spirit reader master. The strongest person under him was only a level 6 planet spirit reader master. He really did not dare to fight Stephen head-on. However, he had to come because of his duty. After seeing the Black Pearl, he didn't act rashly. Instead, he took the initiative to contact the other party. When he saw Linzhen on the screen, he took the initiative to ask, "Are you the owner of the Black Pearl?" "Yes. I am the governor of the Empire, Baron Huashi. I am warning you now, this is the territory of the Sky River Empire. No matter how strong you are, you can't go against the Empire. If you leave now, I can make the decision to pretend that nothing happened." Huashi didn't dare to be too tough. He saw a group of powerhouses standing behind Linzhen. Not only was there Stephen, but there were also 2 level 8 planet spirit. Even the 6-winged angel is at the stellar stage. These people are enough to crush his strength. This place is too far away from the Empire. He doesn't want to be killed by pirates. If the situation is bad, he will escape immediately. So, Baron Huashi doesn't believe my identity as a Count of the Empire? Don't brag. How can a Count of the Empire drive the Black Pearl with a group of pirates? Or a wanted criminal of Aurora? Do you take me for a fool? Huashi didn't believe it at all. At this time, Ronnie quietly told Linzhen that he found Huashi's family. His grandfather is a viscount and also has a mansion on Emerald Star. Okay, you enter the dimensional universe. After 3 minutes, we will meet at your grandfather's house. Linzhen roared, turned off the communication system, and immediately called Shang Guanjiao in the dimensional universe. What's wrong, brother? Did you miss me? Shang Guanjiao was in the dimensional universe and immediately replied. Linzhen said a few simple words. Shang Guanjiao raised his eyebrows. This Baron is really bold. Brother, don't worry, leave this matter to me. I will call my friends and scare him to death. Lin Jun said a few more words. Shang Guanjiao smiled and said, "Okay, I will do as you say. This time, if I don't beat his bones out of his body, my life will be in vain." A minute later, Lin Jun appeared in the Viscount Huaxi's mansion. Soon, shadows flashed around. Shang Guanjiao's friends all appeared. An old Viscount stood at the door. When he arrived, he was timid. When he saw Lin Jun, he nodded and flattered him. Shang Guanjiao introduced him to Lin Jun. "Brother, this is Viscount Huaxi. He is the grandfather of the Baron you saw." Lin Jun snorted and ignored the other party. "Huaxi, it's not that I want to criticize you, but that grandson of yours is too insensible. He actually dared to offend Countess Lin Jun. If you don't get Lin Jun's forgiveness this time, I think your Huaxi family will be in big trouble." Yes. You are right. When that little B**** comes back, I will teach him a lesson. Huaxi wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. He didn't even dare to breathe. Huaxi nervously greeted these big shots that he usually didn't see. He was so busy that he was sweating. At this time, Huaxi returned to the Viscount's mansion. The first thing he saw was Lin Jun. He even said, "You pirate really dared to come. Grandfather, this person." Slap! Viscount Huaxi slapped his grandson's face loudly. "Bastard, how dare you be rude to the Earl? Is this what I usually teach you? Kneel down and apologize to Earl Lin Jun in front of Prince Shangguan and all the other lords. If Earl Lin Jun doesn't forgive you, you will kneel here until you die." Only then did Baron Huaxi notice the people around him. When he saw Shang Guanjiao, his intestines were green with regret. He knew that he was in big trouble this time. He crawled over to Lin Jun and said, "Your Excellency, I was really misled by those bastards. They said that you are a pirate and a wanted criminal. I didn't investigate carefully and was full of sh**t. Please forgive me this time." Lin Jun lowered his head slightly. "I have always been a vengeful person. Huaxi, if you offend me, it will bring disaster to your family. Do you think I will let you go just because you said a few words? Then, my lord, you want to?" Chapter 399. Baron Huaxi, as far as I know, this high-quality energy block was left on an uninhabited planet by a cargo spaceship. When I was a pirate back then, I received information about this, but I was captured before I had the chance to plunder it. Don't try to hide this from the Count. There are so many planets in this universe, and there are 150 that belong directly to Baron Huaxi. Among them, there are 2 life-bearing planets and 4 mineral planets. You must have earned a lot in the past 30 years. How can you say the price of 1 billion Skyriver dollars? It's just a mere Aurora planet's poison mist mountain. Don't tell me our great Count Lin Jun doesn't deserve such a small hill? This matter is non-negotiable. Poison Mist Mountain and the area within 1,000 kilometers are our master's territory. If this is not achieved, then I think the Baron will lose control of this universe. There's no need for beauties. Let's exchange them for cash. Master prefers money. Huaxi gritted his teeth and looked at Stephen in front of him. He hated this former interstellar pirate to death. This sudden incident was not caused by pirates, but the actual losses were countless times more miserable than being robbed by interstellar pirates. After all, if the pirates came, they could still hide the good stuff. However, it was not possible now. Stephen was familiar with everything about Virgo and could even calculate how much property Huaxi had. Moreover, the other party had negotiated the terms one by one. He had about 6 to 7 billion Skyriver dollars in savings over the past 30 years, but the other party had extorted 5 billion from him. There was a crashed cargo spaceship on an uninhabited planet. It was carrying high-quality energy block. He had only just discovered it and did not dare to sell it all at once. He wanted to sell it bit by bit. Its value was about 3 billion Skyriver dollars. In the end, 90% of it was moved to the Black Pearl by Lin Jun's pirate. There was also Aurora's Poison Mist Mountain, which was a place to make a fortune by producing poisonous insect crystals. Lin Zhen had shamelessly asked for it to be given to him as a warehouse. Even the beautiful woman who was sent to Lin Zhen in the hope that she could blow on his pillow was sent back by Lin Zhen. He also asked Huaxi to give him a discount, which was worth a total of 200 million. Huaxi dared not say anything about Lin Zhen's behavior. Otherwise, with Lin Zhen's gang of scoundrels, their Huaxi family would definitely be wiped out. Lin Zhen had basically taken away all the wealth he had accumulated over the years. His heart was bleeding. Lin Zhen, you're ruthless. Since you're so heartless, I'll definitely kill you. Hurry up and load the ships. Get ready to set off. Lin Zhen directed the crew to move the energy blocks onto the spaceship. He was also holding a transaction agreement in his hand. The owner of this starry sky, Baron Huaxi, was willing to sell the Aurora Star's poison mist mountain and everything within 1,000 kilometers to the Empire's Count Lin Zhen for 500 million Milky Way dollars. Of course, there was a transfer record of this money. The two of them had personally transferred the money at the Jade Star branch. The transaction agreement was also fair and valid. However, this money was paid by Huaxi himself. Lin Zhen only took his money and deposited it before transferring it to him. He knew that Huaxi must hate him to the core. However, Lin Zhen did not care too much. Huaxi himself was not strong and Aurora Star was too far away from Earth. As long as he did not find a wormhole, it would be difficult for him to reach Earth. Poison Mist Mountain was under martial law. This territory belonged to Lin Zhen from now on. Lin Zhen did not send too many people to manage it for the time being. He only left 2 Planet Level 5 Golden Eagle and Silver Eagle to guard the place until he was done with his business on Earth. Under the gaze of the people of Aurora Star, the Black Pearl rose into the sky. In the eyes of the people of Aurora Star, this Count was not bad at all. At least he did not rob or harm the people. The Black Pearl was only invisible. This planet's technology could not capture the traces of the Black Pearl at all. Now that the spaceship had more energy blocks, Lin Zhen could use them to his heart's content. They rushed out of the atmosphere and turned back, directly entering the depths of Poison Mist Mountain. Only a spaceship of the Black Pearl's quality would not be affected by the poison mist. After passing through the huge cave, they directly entered the wormhole. Chapter 400. Hurry up! The Australian continent is in front of us. The squadron that was ordered by Yixian crossed the Indian Ocean and arrived above the Australian continent. Captain, in front of us is the ruins of the ancient city of Sydney, which is where we found the shadow. Lock the coordinates and accelerate forward. I want to see what's hiding in the shadow. The spacecraft accelerated, making a shrill sound in the air, quickly approaching the ancient city of Sydney. Sydney used to be the largest city here, but after the day of the divine change, the people of Australia were trapped on the island with nowhere to escape. Eventually, the country was destroyed, and the once prosperous Sydney became a ruin. It's there, the Olympic Centre. It's said that there was an Olympic Games in this stadium. This is where the shadow is located. Land. The spacecraft slowly descended. However, before they could land, a sudden change occurred. A strong holy light suddenly rushed out from the stadium and hit the falling spaceship. Although this spaceship is small, it's still a product of the Sky River Empire's technology. It's much more powerful than the spaceships on Earth. Even ordinary missiles can't shoot it down, but the intensity of this holy light is beyond their expectations. Rumble. Warning. Warning. The spacecraft has been hit hard. The control system is damaged. It will self-destruct in 30 seconds. Please leave as soon as possible. Damn it. Who the hell is here? It's very difficult for an ordinary satellite stage cultivator to produce this kind of holy light. Is there a satellite stage cultivator guarding this place? The captain of the satellite stage cultivator broke the hatch and escaped, but as soon as he came out, another violent holy light blasted towards him. Light judgment. This time, only the captain of the satellite stage cultivator and 3 comet stage cultivators managed to escape. The remaining 7 comet stage cultivators turned into ashes under the attack of light judgment. Who the hell is it? The captain of the squadron was furious. He released his star power, drew his weapon, and entered a combat state. In the stadium, a group of people in white robes rose into the air. The leading white-robed man was Baho. Baho had already reached Comet Level 9. Behind him, the 20 ascetics had all reached Comet Level 10. These people floated in the air, and powerful holy light energy surged around them, causing the company captain to be secretly shocked. Who are you? Is Lin Zhen's family here? No comment, leaving here is your only choice. Baggio's mission is to protect Lin Zhen's parents and 2 girlfriends. Now that the aliens are here, he naturally has to fight. Earthlings, you have just killed a citizen of a high-leveled civilization. You have committed an unforgivable capital crime. Don't think that your joint attack techniques are invincible. Just now, you had the advantage with a sneak attack. You will not have such a chance again. The captain of the satellite stage was not afraid. These Earthlings were at most level 9 comet stage, and were definitely not his mat. Bringing along 3 late-stage comet warriors, the 4 of them charged towards Baho and the other ascetics. At this time, 3 people were rushing to Sydney. One was Lin Zhen's original body. He was approaching quickly from the Bermuda Sea. He was less than 1,000 kilometers away. The other group was from Huaxia. It was Yixian. When the aircraft of this squadron was destroyed, he realized that the situation was not right. He immediately led a large group of people from Huaxia to kill. The last group was from the Black Pearl. At this moment, the Black Pearl had already accelerated to its maximum speed of 1,500 kilometers per second. It was definitely not something that any aircraft on Earth could compare with. The blue planet in front had already appeared on the radar. Master, we are 1.5 stars away from Earth. The distance of 1 star was 1 million kilometers. The Black Pearl would need close to 17 minutes to reach this point. Yes, maintain speed. Adjust the coordinates to the ancient city of Sydney in the Australian continent. 10 minutes later, Lin Zhen's original body was the first to arrive at the battlefield in Sydney. The ascetic monks could not hold on any longer. Although they had killed the 3 comet stage cultivators, the satellite level 4 company leader was not someone they could fight against. 10 ascetic monks had already died in battle. The appearance of Lin Zhen's original body did not escape the eyes of the satellite stage expert. When he saw Lin Zhen, his face revealed an inconceivable surprise. Waha! Lin Zhen, you have finally appeared. Just in time. This time, I will catch all of you in one fell swoop. Lin Zhen sneered. He suddenly teleported and quickly appeared in front of the satellite stage expert. He did not use the yin-yang spear. Instead, he opened his arms and pounced on the satellite stage expert. You are courting death. The satellite stage expert raised his sword and was about to kill Lin Zhen. But at this time, Lin Zhen's speed suddenly increased. He originally thought that the opponent's speed had already reached the limit. Unexpectedly, the opponent's speed doubled again. He suddenly appeared in front of the satellite stage expert, opened his arms, and grabbed him tightly. Baho! Light judgment! Lin Zhen gave Baho an order. Baho was already prepared. He gathered the strength of the remaining 10 ascetics and used the powerful light judgment to attack Lin Zhen and the satellite stage expert. Don't even think about dying together with me. You can't hold me down. The satellite stage expert was shocked. He thought that Lin Zhen wanted to drag him down with him. He had participated in many battles to conquer other planets. There were indeed some people who did not care about their lives and would rather die to drag others down with them. However, he did not want to become Lin Zhen's scapegoat. He was a citizen of an advanced civilization. His life was much more valuable than a native like Lin Zhen. It was too late to shake Lin Zhen off, so he flew to the side. With his star power, Lin Zhen should not be able to lock him down. Lin Zhen's lips curled into a cold smile. Stop struggling. You're dead meat. Folded space. The dark star revolved, and the folded space appeared, sealing Lin Zhen and the company leader in the space. The company leader's flying action directly hit the space barrier, and he returned without success. Lin Zhen's mind moved, and the folded space disappeared again. At this time, Baho's holy light power arrived. A huge beam of light shot into the distant sky. The company leader closed his eyes in pain before he died, thinking that it was not worth dying to be dragged down by Lin Zhen. However, he did not know that Lin Zhen had already mastered the light atom and was immune to the holy light power. He was the only one who was vaporized by the holy light. It was because Baho knew this that he unscrupulously used light judgment on Lin Zhen. Looking at the other party's body vaporizing in the air, Lin Zhen clapped his hands. You think I want to die with you? Don't you know that your life is worthless compared to mine? After the successful attack, Lin Zhen did not stop. He immediately turned around and rushed into the stadium. In the stadium, Lin Lie and Li Qin were nervously watching the battle outside, accompanied by Ning and Yu. When they saw Lin Zhen come in, the four of them heaved a long sigh of relief. The eyes of his parents and two girlfriends were a little red. When they saw Lin Zhen, they saw their backbone. Unknowingly, Lin Zhen had grown into a pillar of support for everyone. In the face of a powerful extraterrestrial civilization, only Lin Zhen was the hope of the Earthlings. Lin Zhen walked up to his family apologetically. Dad, Mom, Ning, I'm really sorry. However, I promise that such a thing will not happen again. Lin Lie nodded. Dad is fine. Your mom and the other two have been worried a lot. Li Qin shook her head. Don't listen to your dad's nonsense. Mom is already a warlord. She's not as fragile as before. Ning and Su Mingyue looked at Lin Zhen with their beautiful eyes. The strong attachment in their eyes warmed Lin Zhen's heart. However, this was not the time to talk about this. Lin Zhen asked his family, Is the black ghost still there? Yes, it's in the warehouse. Let's go up. Those aliens are coming from China. They will be here in a minute. We have to try to delay them for a few minutes. Delay them for a few minutes. Will that work? Li Qin was a little worried. Don't worry. There won't be a problem this time. The group, including Baggio and the ascetics, boarded the Black Ghost. This aircraft with the best performance on Earth rose into the air and headed straight for the atmosphere. As soon as they took off, Yixian's fleet arrived. Master Yixian, look at that aircraft. It belongs to Lin Zhen. They seem to want to break out of the atmosphere and escape. They want to leave? Do you think they can escape? Chase them and try to catch them alive. As long as we catch Lin Zhen, China will completely surrender to us. Yixian's fleet immediately chased after Lin Zhen's Black Ghost. Although the Black Ghost is the best aircraft on Earth, it is still far behind the technology of the Sky River Empire. In less than a minute, it was caught up by Yixian's fleet. Prepare the trapping net and trap this little fly for me. We'll catch a turtle in a jar. Yixian laughed sinisterly. The trapping net was a huge metal net that could be shot out by energy cannons to trap small aircraft. Just as they were about to launch the trapping net, a huge shadow fell from the sky. Warning! Warning! Attention all personnel! An unidentified flying object is approaching us. Warning! Warning! The identity of the unidentified flying object has been locked. The Black Pearl. Beep beep beep. The ear-piercing alarm kept ringing. The name Black Pearl shocked everyone in the Yixian. F***CK. No way, how did those bastards from the Black Pearl come to this star field? Even the Empire hasn't fully developed this star field. How could they be here? It's over. It's over, I'm not married yet. I'm a dignified soldier of the Empire. I don't want to be a slave to pirates. If I knew this would happen, I would have used the battle fortress. At least it would have some resistance. Look here, this bullshit firepower can't compete with the enemy. Look, Lin Zhen's aircraft was captured by the Black Pearl. Chapter 401. Seeing the appearance of the Black Pearl, Ye Xian felt a sense of fear. He had heard of this pirate ship before. The Empire's military had racked their brains trying to capture the Black Pearl for many years. However, he had heard that this ship had been captured some time ago. The Empire's media had even reported about it. Why would it appear here? If it was really that group of pirates, the fleet he brought with him today would most likely be destroyed here. Holding on to a sliver of hope, Ye Xian contacted the Black Pearl through the control panel. Soon, the communication was connected. Seeing Ronnie's sissy face, Ye Xian's vision turned black. Oh no, it was really pirates. You guys broke out of prison? Ye Xian probed. Ronnie revealed a strange smile. Baron Ye Xian, what nonsense are you talking about? Don't tell me that as a noble knight, I will still be imprisoned? What? You're a knight? Ye Xian looked at this group of pirates who had been on the wanted list countless times. Every one of them had a golden dragon embroidered on their clothes. It should be the family emblem of a noble, but he had never seen this emblem before. Ye Xian, who considered himself experienced and knowledgeable, did not believe Ronnie's words at all. These pirates would often play tricks on their targets before robbing. How could they become knights? To become a knight, one must be taken in by a high-ranking noble. He believed that no noble in the upper class of the Empire would be that stupid. You don't have to worry about that. However, my master is very unhappy with your actions. You should know that as a knight, the master's will is the highest command to us. Therefore, I have decided to teach you soldiers who are wasting the Empire's food a lesson. On the Black Pearl, layers of cannons were opened one after another. The energy cannons were ready to fire. Wait a minute. Ye Xian's forehead was immediately covered in sweat. You can't do this. I'm a noble of the Empire. It's against the law if you dare to attack me. Ha ha ha. Listen to what he's saying. He actually dared to tell Ronnie that it's against the law. Does he not know who I am? Ronnie laughed and spoke to the pirates beside him. Those pirates also laughed insolently and pointed at Ye Xian as if he was an idiot. A captain next to Art Courtyard said, Sir, talking about the law with these pirates is no different from playing the lute to a cow. They only care about wealth and benefits. Ye Xian suddenly came to a realization and hurriedly said, There's no benefit for you to attack me. I know you've escaped from prison, but don't worry, I won't report you as long as you let me go. Are you serious? Ronnie's smile became even stranger. I swear I won't report it. Ye Xian thought to herself, anyway, I'm just fooling you guys. When Countess Diana's Sky City arrives, we'll fight to the death. Right now, he's just stalling for time. As long as we don't fight immediately, it'll be fine. He even added fuel to the fire and continued, The aircraft you caught just now belongs to a native of Earth. That guy should be quite rich. His assets should be worth hundreds of millions of Skyriver dollars. Moreover, that person has 2 very beautiful girlfriends. They can be sold for a good price in the slave market. You definitely didn't come here in vain. Ronnie glanced at him. Is the person you're talking about called Lin Zhen? Yes. His name is Lin Zhen. Then come to the dimensional universe. I'll let you confirm it. Ronnie reported the number of the dimensional universe, and Ye Xian followed him in. The two met in the dimensional universe, and Ronnie showed him a photo. Look, is this the person you asked me to buy from the slave market? Yes, it's this Lin Zhen. You can do whatever you want with his girlfriend. Then, was your pursuit just now to capture Lin Zhen's girlfriend and his family? Yes, we want to capture his parents and girlfriend. Okay, Baron Ye Xian, I've recorded everything you said just now. You intend to attack an Empire Earl, and coincidentally, this Earl is my master. Therefore, as my master's knight, I can launch a counterattack against you and your fleet. Now, prepare to die. Who is your master? Ronnie glanced at him. Lin Zhen. After speaking, Ronnie left the dimensional universe. Yixian also left the dimensional universe in a daze. Lin Zhen's face had already appeared on the screen, and he was giving orders with a cold gaze. Baron Yixian, under the circumstances that you think the other party is a pirate, you still want to hide it and not report it. Furthermore, you tried to sell me and my girlfriend as slaves. My knights, the time to protect your master has come. Blast this group of bandits into pieces. Fire! The Black Pearl instantly fired, and Yixian's fleet was instantly in big trouble. The huge technological gap caused disastrous consequences. 1 minute, after a short 1 minute, Yixian's fleet was left with only his lonely flagship. The other 20 spaceships were all blasted into pieces by the Black Pearl. Yixian's flagship's performance was not bad. It desperately dodged in the air until the protective shield was shattered. Only then did Yixian abandon the ship and escape. As a baron of the Empire and a fleet commander, Yixian's realm had already reached planet level 8. If he insisted on escaping, Lin Zhen and the group would have a hard time stopping him. In his opinion, Ronnie was the only expert on the other side, and he was also a planet level 8. If he couldn't win, he could still escape. Lin Zhen, don't even think about harming me. The people I'm chasing are all natives of this planet. Even if you have obtained the title of Earl, your family doesn't have any status. I didn't break the law. When Countess Diana arrives, I'll settle the score with you. In a short period of time, he had already confirmed Lin Zhen's identity. Although Lin Zhen was an earl and had the right to issue chips, chips required points to obtain. Lin Zhen had just obtained the title of earl, so he shouldn't have had the time to obtain a chip. As long as he could escape now, he would be fine. In the North American continent, Countess Diana's spaceship was rushing over. Behind her were all the elites for this expedition. Among them, there were more than 100 planet-level experts. Diana herself was a stellar level 1 expert. Hurry, hurry, hurry! Yixian will be in danger if we're any later. I didn't expect an Earl of the Empire to appear on Earth. Things are getting a little troublesome. Don't worry, Countess. Lord Yixian is very strong. He won't be caught so easily. We'll reach Australia in 2 minutes. Yixian rushed out of the destroyed flagship and quickly headed in the direction of North America. The Sky City was in North America. He had already informed Countess Diana. As long as he could hold on until reinforcements arrived, he would have hope of escaping. He had just escaped when he saw Ronnie appear and intercept him from the north. He immediately turned and ran east. He could run to South America as there were also Empire troops in South America. However, Sark, who had a pair of demon horns on his head, intercepted him and laughed at him. Damn it, I forgot that this Black Pearl has 2 vice-captains. Ronnie helplessly turned and ran east. He could also run back to the Asian continent as his troops were there. However, a figure flashed in front of him. The level 9 planet spirit reader Stephen appeared and laughed at Yixian. Baron Yixian, where are you planning to go? Yixian didn't expect the other party to have such an expert. He looked panicked. He gritted his teeth and simply headed south. As long as he passed through Antarctica, he could still go around from the other hemisphere. However, just as he was flying towards the south, an angel with 6 wings was floating in the air. Holy flames were burning on his body. The golden sword in his hand was dazzling. He looked at him coldly. Just one look was enough to make Yixian feel cold. Stellar level. There's actually a stellar level expert here. Oh my god! This Lin Zhen just became an earl. How could he have such a powerful slave? Slash! Blazing Angel Jason flapped his wings and flew in front of Yixian at a speed that was close to teleportation. He slashed down fiercely. With one slash, the Holy Flame domain appeared. It's actually a stellar-level expert proficient in domains. I'm finished. Those who could comprehend domains were true geniuses. This angel expert's domain was stable. It was obvious that he had comprehended it for a long time. Yixian was definitely not his match. Yixian closed his eyes and resigned himself to his fate. Jason's palm changed. A hand knife cut the back of Yixian's neck and directly knocked him out. Master, I caught him. Lin Jin flew over and grabbed Yixian's spiritual defense, sacred weapon. Then, he used soul lock to control his soul. Yixian wasn't a spirit reader. He had only cultivated spiritual battle technique. He didn't have the protection of the sacred weapon in his unconscious state. Soon, Lin Jin successfully locked his soul. When he opened his eyes, he had already become Lin Jin's spiritual slave. Just as all this was done, a spaceship quickly came from afar. On the spaceship, the white snow lotus emblem represented the identity of a high-ranking aristocrat. Countess Diana had arrived. Hee, the main person invading Earth is here. Let's see the might of this countess. Lin Jin boarded the Black Pearl with his men and took the initiative to activate the communication device to connect with the incoming spaceship. The image flashed and Diana appeared on the screen. Dressed in a black aristocratic robe with purple stripes, Diana's expression was as cold as ice. Her first sentence was a question to Lin Jin. Lin Jin, you actually attacked the Empire's soldiers for the residents of a few indigenous planet. Could it be that in your heart, just because they are your family, you can override the Empire's interests? Diana was also very smart. She didn't make a fuss about Lin Jin's identity. The other party was also a countess of the Empire and had the same status as her. If she wanted to gain the upper hand, she had to grasp the reason. Lin Jin was a countess. His family had no status. This was Lin Jin's flaw. Yixian, who was captured and tied up, was about to say something but was stopped by Diana. Chapter 402. In the face of Diana's questioning, Lin Jin only sneered and called out his family. His father, mother, and 2 girlfriends. After the 4 of them appeared, Diana was instantly stunned. This was because the 4 of them were actually wearing the Empire's aristocratic attire. Although they were only the lowest knight attire, they were indeed aristocrats. How is it, Miss Diana, do you still want to go to the dimensional universe to verify their identities and see if their knighthood is fake? No need. Diana's face was gloomy and cold. She knew that she had lost this round. Lin Jin had come prepared. Not only had he been promoted to Earl, but he had also promoted his family to Knight. This way, the logic was on his side. If she went through normal channels, she would definitely lose. Earl Lin Jin, I really didn't expect that there would be someone like you on Earth. As someone from a low-leveled civilization, you have surprised me. Thank you for the compliment, Lin Jin said with a smile. But don't be happy too early. You and your family are safe now, but can you save the others on Earth? I will sell those captured warriors as slaves. As for you, Lin Jin, you will definitely be spurned by other Earthlings because you only care about your family. At that time, your friends will leave you and there will no longer be a place for you on Earth. Take your family and this group of pirates and go far away. Miss Diana, you don't have to worry about this. You should take care of your people. Maybe one day, you will have to leave with your tail between your legs. After Lin Jin finished speaking, he piloted the Black Pearl and was about to leave. It was not suitable for him to have a direct conflict with Diana now. Don't go. You have to release Baron Yixian. He is a noble. You have no right to execute him. I will send Baron Yixian back to China now. You don't have to worry about it. The Black Pearl left quickly and disappeared from sight in an instant. Diana believed that Lin Jin would not dare to do anything to Yixian. Now she had a headache. Lin Jin's appearance had somewhat disrupted her plan. I have to sell the captives as soon as possible and then go to the city of ancient gods to find the treasure. Otherwise, this trip to Earth will be in vain. She gave orders to the commanders of the various fleets through the dimensional universe, including Yixian. Master, this is Diana's order. She wants me to immediately turn the captives into slaves, Yixian said to Lin Jin. Bring me all the people you've captured. Yes. An hour later, something happened that made Diana want to vomit blood. The captives in the Huaxia prison camp actually escaped collectively, and the reason was that the guard was drunk. Although the art courtyard had reported in time that the drunk guard had been executed, Diana knew that there was something wrong with the art courtyard. However, there was no evidence, and Diana could do nothing about it. After these captives left, they immediately transformed into citizens of the empire or the poor. Those who were captured by the army were all important figures in Huaxia. They were either important members or high-level martial artists. Lin Zhen's Black Pearl, on the other hand, began to issue identification cards to the people in the capital base city. Lin Zhen currently had 200 citizen statuses and 20,000 pauper statuses in his hands. As long as they were Chinese martial artists who had reached the war god level, Lin Zhen would immediately give them pauper statuses. As for those above the star realm, or those who were acquaintances of Lin Zhen, he would consider giving them citizenship. The pauper statuses were issued by his parents and 2 girlfriends. Lin Zhen personally checked the citizenship. After all, citizenship was very precious, and he couldn't just give it to anyone. As for the ordinary people, he wouldn't give it to them for the time being. Ordinary people had no value to the army. They didn't even have the qualifications to be slaves. No one would use such short-lived and fragile people as slaves. It wasn't worth it. Lin Zhen, this is a request from the European Union. They request 30 citizen statuses and 5,000 pauper statuses. They also express their willingness to support you in becoming the Lord of Earth. On the Black Pearl, Su Mingyue snuggled up to Lin Zhen and looked at the message on her phone. Lin Zhen rubbed Yu's hair greedily and took a look at the phone. I don't have that many slots for them. I want to prioritize the supply from Huaxia. Tell them that 10 slots for citizens and 1,000 slots for the poor are the same for every country except Huaxia. If I get more chips, I'll consider giving them more. As for me becoming the overlord of Earth, that's not up to them. America doesn't have any higher-ups at the moment. The people who came were all chosen at the last minute, and they don't have any hostility toward you. However, the management of Russia and India seem to have some opinions about you. They've sent people to take the statuses, but they seem a little arrogant. Humph. A bunch of reckless people. Don't they know what the situation is now? Still putting on airs. Very well, these 2 countries will no longer give out citizen statuses, only 500 pauper statuses. Take it or leave it. Okay, I think so too. Su Mingyue snuggled up in Lin Zhen's arms and happily replied to the message. Yu's skin has become thicker. She only knows how to be intimate with Lin Zhen. And Ning walked over from the control panel and teased Su Mingyue. Although she was deeply in love with Lin Zhen, she was also interested in business. Ever since she became a knight, she had developed a strong interest in the outside world through artificial intelligence life. Plus, she was born into a business family, so she was very willing to pay attention to making money. To be exact, Ning was a bit of a strong-willed person, while Su Mingyue was a bit of a woman. His light element is of the same origin as mine. This is a natural attraction. It's comfortable to be together. Su Mingyue was very familiar with Ning, and she retorted with a red face. Okay. Then can't you give me some space? Ning squeezed over with a smile and snuggled up to Lin Zhen's other side. Hugging on both sides and smelling the fragrance, Lin Zhen wondered if it was time for him to get married. But thinking about it, he should wait until everything settled down. His 2 girlfriends snuggled in his arms and fell asleep in a short while. It was obvious that they were too tired during this period of time. They only felt at ease after seeing him. They really needed a good rest. Master, someone in the dimensional universe is calling you. It's your friend Chen Fenglai. He invited you to meet at Fire Dragon Mountain Bar on Jade Star. Do you want to go? Chris called Lin Zhen. The one here was Lin Zhen's main body. Even if it was his clone, Lin Zhen didn't want to do something like having sex with his girlfriend. The artificial intelligence life in his main body, Chris, was cloned from his clone. Both artificial intelligence lives had the same authority, but they couldn't log into the dimensional universe at the same time. After Chen Fenglai and the others were rescued, Lin Zhen immediately gave them citizenship. It wasn't just him and Bihai. There was also a person called Qing Su, who was ranked 5th on the Heavenly Star list. He was also captured in the battle with the Art Pavilion. After these 3 people received their citizenship, they all went to study the dimensional universe. They didn't expect to find a place to drink in less than 2 days. Okay, let's go take a look. Lin Zhen didn't need to get up. His main body hugged his 2 girlfriends and entered a light sleep state, enjoying this rare time of rest. Meanwhile, his clone entered the dimensional universe. Soon, Lin Zhen appeared in front of the Fire Dragon Mountain Bar. The dimensional universe was also a world. This bar was definitely considered a high-end bar. The service environment was top-notch. It was a high-spending place. Lin Zhen was a little worried that Chen Fenglai and the others wouldn't be able to afford to treat him to a meal. Spending money here required heavenly river dollars. The few of them had some wealth on Earth, but when it came to the exchange rate of 1,000 heavenly river dollars, no matter how much money they had, it was still too little. Lin Zhen walked in and went directly to Chen Fenglai and the others' seat. "Brother Lin, come and have a seat. The 3 of us have been walking around Jadeite Star for the whole day. It's been an eye-opener. We thought of you when we wanted to have a drink, so we found this place. Do you like it?" The person who spoke was Chen Fenglai. Although Bihai and Lin Zhen were closer, Chen Fenglai and Lin Zhen got along the best. According to their age difference, the 2 of them were about the same age. After all, they were less than 100 years old. Qing Su and Bihai were several hundred years old. "As long as we can drink, anywhere is good. This place is a little expensive," Lin Zhen reminded. "Ah, it's not expensive. If we can't even afford to treat you to a meal, it'll be too embarrassing for us," Chen Fenglai said. Qing Su was a man in a Taoist robe. He was more than 500 years old, but he looked about 50 years old. At this time, he also said, "1 coin is enough." "What coin?" Lin Zhen asked curiously. Bihai held back his laughter at this time. "Today we went to the bank to deposit money, but Brother Qing Su's assets weren't enough to open an account. In the end, he only exchanged a dozen crystal coins. He complained that after living for more than 500 years, the money he accumulated was only exchanged for a few coins." Lin Zhen couldn't help but laugh. The currency of the Sky River Empire is divided into 3 types. Silver coins are 1 yuan, gold coins are 100 yuan, and crystal coins are 10,000 yuan. A dozen crystal coins are more than 100,000 yuan. If exchanged for the currency of Earth, it's equivalent to hundreds of millions of yuan. Qing Su was quite rich on Earth, but in this world, his wealth was reduced to a few coins. This meal seems to be Qing Su's treat. He didn't know Lin Zhen before, but he got a citizenship. At first, he didn't take it too seriously, but after coming to the multiverse and learning more about it, he realized what citizenship means. Generally, after a low-level civilization's planet is conquered, the entire planet is likely to be enslaved. Becoming a slum is already a blessing, and becoming a citizen is simply a rarity. Only now did he realize that he owed Lin Zhen a big favor, so he proposed to treat him to a meal. He asked Chen Fenglai and the others to invite Lin Zhen over. Chapter 403. The biggest advantage of the food in the dimensional world, compared to the food in the real world, was that it was the best. The same fish might be too salty, spicy, or burnt in the real world, but this would not happen in the dimensional world. The taste would be incomparably delicious. This table of food from the Fire Dragon Mountain planet almost made them swallow their tongues. After eating and drinking to their fill, Chen Fenglai put down his chopstick. "Sigh. I was really a frog in a well. When I was on Earth, I always thought that I was one of the top people. Our pursuit came from the obsession in our hearts. We forced ourselves to cultivate, but we did not know where the road was. But when I came here, I realized that I was really a frog in a well. And Bihuai and Qing Su didn't say anything. Lin Jin knew that the two of them still couldn't wrap their heads around the fact that they had fallen from the top to the bottom. Bill. When they were almost done eating, Qing Su called for the bill. The bill was brought over. It was a total of 150,000. Only 150,000. Qing Su smiled and was about to pay the bill, but he was stunned when he reached out his hand. 150,000 Sky River dollars was equivalent to 100 million Earth currency. It was almost all the cash he had on hand. More than 100 million for a meal? Is this a black restaurant? I'm sorry, sir. Our restaurant's prices are clearly marked. The bill is only 150,000, not 100 million. The waiter smiled politely, but there was a hint of sarcasm in his eyes. To be able to say that it was 100 million, this person was definitely from a low-leveled civilization. It might even be his first time spending money in the dimensional universe. Qing Su wanted to argue, but Chern Feng Lai could not stand it anymore. Among the three of them, Chern Feng Lai was the richest. The Fierce Wind Dojo had been open on Earth for decades. Chern Feng Lai's money was enough to open an account in the universe's first bank. He even had a bank card. Actually, Qing Su was not that poor, but he did not have much cash. If he sold some of his sacred weapons, he would still have a few million Sky River dollars. Forget it, brother. Let me do it. Chern Feng Lai was about to settle the bill. I'll treat you to this meal, brother, Wang Yao said. Just as Chern Feng Lai was about to take out money, a low voice sounded from behind. When they turned around, Lin Jin's eyes couldn't help but narrow slightly. There were two people standing behind him, both at the stellar stage. One of them had 5 gold stars on his chest, while the other had 2 silver stars. Shura warriors. Within the arena, the Star Realm arena wasn't considered the mainstream. The only arena worth watching was the Eternal Realm arena. The satellite stage, the planet stage, and the star stage. When people of these 3 stages fought together, this arena was called the Azura Arena. The top powerhouses in this arena were the Azura Martialists. If one's win rate in the Eternal Realm arena was over 80%, and if one won 1,000 matches, one would be awarded a silver star. 2,000 victories would give him 2 silver stars, 4,000 would give him 3 silver stars, and so on. If one's win rate was over 90%, they would be awarded gold stars. When the winning rate reached 95% and above, the star on the chest would turn red. With a 99% chance of winning, the symbol on his chest would become a crown. That was the symbol of the Azura King. The Azura Martialists had a special status in the Empire. One must know that the Azura Arena wasn't limited to the Sky River Empire, but the entire Sanjiang Federation. The Sanjiang Federation was composed of 8,000 elementary civilizations. If one could win more than 80% of the matches in this arena, one would have to be a true genius to achieve such a feat. Although the Azura Martialists weren't aristocrats, their status was even higher than aristocrats. Every Azura was an elite of the same level. They were super warriors, not aristocrats, but no one was willing to offend them. Because Azuras also had another identity, mercenaries. After becoming an Azura, one could apply to join the Universe Mercenary Association. Being an Azura was the lowest threshold for entry. The strength of these mercenaries was unimaginable. Just in the Sanjiang Federation alone, there were several incidents of mercenaries and countries confronting each other. There were conflicts between elementary civilizations and mercenaries. As a result, a group of mercenaries broke through the capital of an elementary civilization, killed the emperor, and destroyed many civilizations. Therefore, in elementary civilizations, no one was willing to offend mercenaries. In fact, no one dared to offend them. This was the truth of the universe. Those with bigger fists were qualified to speak. The two people in front of him, the Silver Star Level 2 Azura Martialist, should have won more than 2,000 matches in the Azura arena. His winning rate was between 80% and 90%. The Gold Star Level 5 Azura Martialist was amazing. His winning rate was between 16,000 and 32,000 matches, and his winning rate was between 90% and 95%. Being able to win so many matches in the Azura arena with such a high winning rate, there was no doubt about this person's strength. The Gold Star Azura was talking to Chen Fenglai, which made Chen Fenglai stunned for a moment. "Senior, my name is Han Sha, this is my business card." The Gold Star Azura handed Chen Fenglai a business card with his dimensional universe number on it. "It's like this, I feel the aura of a domain from you. You should have comprehended the power of a domain." Chen Fenglai nodded. He has indeed comprehended the sword domain. This is also the reason why he was able to enter the Heavenly Star list at the age of a few decades, being on the same level as Embark and Qing Su. If it weren't for Lin Zhen entering the Heavenly Star list, Chen Fenglai would be the youngest person on the Heavenly Star list, and also the one with the most potential. Being able to master the power of a domain proves that you are a true genius. Although you are only a Gold Star Level 1 now, it's nothing. I hope you can participate in the Azura arena. If you have any problems in the future, you can look for me. Chen Fenglai didn't know how to answer, so he looked at Lin Zhen. Brother Chen, agree, it's a good thing. Lin Zhen was also happy for Chen Fenglai. If Chen Fenglai became an Azura in the future and became a mercenary, it would be like reaching the sky in a single bound. It's much more valuable than being a noble in the Sky River Empire. This identity is useful in the entire Sanjiang Federation, unlike Lin Zhen's noble identity, which is only useful in the Sky River Empire. Then I'll thank Brother Han Sha in advance. Hee, it's no problem. Han Sha's gaze fell on Lin Zhen's body. This noble little brother's strength is a bit strange, I can't see through it, interesting. After saying that, Han Sha took the Silver Star Azura upstairs and casually threw a 10,000 yuan note to the waiter. "If you have anything good, just give me the change." The waiter suddenly smiled. "Mr. Han Sha, please rest assured, I guarantee that you will be satisfied." Qing Su asked Lin Zhen, "Brother Lin, what kind of money is that?" "That's 3 river coins, 1 to 1,000 heavenly river coins." "Oh my God, isn't that 10 million heavenly river coins? If it's changed to Earth's currency, it's... Yes, it's 10 billion. And Bihui said. After saying that, their expressions became a bit heavy. Universe Mercenary Guild, Azura Warriors, these 2 words echoed in their hearts, and they also found their future goals. They were all top figures on Earth, so they naturally had pride in their hearts. They wouldn't be willing to fall behind others. Now that they were all in the satellite stage, they could participate in the Azura battlefield battle, and they all wanted to give it a try. Lin Zhen left the extra-dimensional universe, and so did Ning and Su Mingyue. They didn't spend all their time with Lin Zhen. They were all warriors, and they also needed a lot of time to cultivate. Becoming an Azura warrior, this is also my goal. Lin Zhen went to the top floor of the Black Pearl. It wasn't difficult for him to participate in the Azura battlefield. As long as his main body resonated with the 7 elements, he could let his main body break through to the star stage, and at that time, his clone would also advance to the satellite stage. Now that he had resonated with the 3 elements of light, water, and fire this time, he planned to resonate with 2 elements at once, wind and thunder. Black Pearl, rise to the sky. Lin Zhen gave the order, and the Black Pearl left the capital base city and flew towards the sky. When they rose to the cumulonimbus clouds, Lin Zhen stopped. The astral winds here were strong, and the wind elements were thick. The air was moist, and a storm was coming. Lin Zhen took out a long spear from his interspatial ring and pointed it at the sky. The quality of this long spear was very poor, but it was indeed a good carrier for conducting electricity. It played the role of a lightning rod and could attract lightning. Crack! A bolt of lightning fell from the sky and directly landed on Lin Zhen's body. Silver snakes jumped on his body, making him feel numb. A strong wind swept past, and the dark star in Lin Zhen's body circulated, and the power of wind and thunder surged out. The thunder wings also spread out, attracting bolts of lightning. While tempering Lin Zhen's body, it also nourished itself. This is the feeling. If this continues, maybe within a day, I can resonate with wind and thunder at the same time. After that, I will immediately resonate with the earth element. I have a feeling that as long as I resonate with the 7 elements, there will be great benefits waiting for me. In the control room of the City of Ancient Gods, the elevator door opened, and Xino and Doodle stood there respectfully. Diana walked out of the elevator and glanced at the two. How is the investigation going? Earl, we have basically found out. When the Red Rose came back from the Leia planet, it was announced that it was transporting animals to the Royal Zoo. In fact, there was a super treasure hidden in the spaceship. What is it? The original master of the Leia planet is dead. All his wealth and inheritance are in a world stone, and that world stone is in the Red Rose. World stone. Yes, unlike the interspatial ring, the world stone is a small world of its own, and it can even live in it. We can be sure that the world stone is somewhere on the 4th floor of the Red Rose. Is the master of the Leia planet rich? Earl, the master of the Leia planet is a star sector level master. In the Shuraba, he has the title of 9-star Shura King. Do you think he is rich? If we can find his inheritance, we'll be rich. Find it no matter what. Whoever dares to stop me will die. Chapter 404. Seeing the 3 gold stars on Diana's body, Xino and Doodle looked at each other in shock. They didn't expect this Countess of the Empire to be a Shura warrior. Furthermore, to be able to reach the 3-star gold rank, her strength was very strong. Now, the only person on Earth who can be considered an obstacle is Lin Zhen. Diana glanced at Xino and Doodle. I have a feeling that when I'm looking for the treasure of Leia Star's master, Lin Zhen and his pirates will come and cause trouble. Therefore, we must get rid of Lin Zhen. Xino said. Then Countess Diana can drive Sky City over and eliminate Lin Zhen and his people. No, Lin Zhen's Black Pearl isn't easy to deal with. If he wants to escape, no one can stop him. Therefore, we can only assassinate him. Then you can send military experts over. Diana shook her head. That won't do. The repercussions of sending military people are too great. If they are discovered, the Empire won't let me go. This matter can only be done by mercenaries. Mercenaries? Then when can they come to Earth? Earth is more than 30,000 light-years away from Emerald Star. Ordinary people can't rush over in time. However, I know that there's a wormhole 8 light-years away from here that leads to Demon Moon Star in the Taurus constellation. Demon Moon Star is connected to Emerald Star by wormhole. Otherwise, how can our fleet rush over in 3 years? But even so, it's still close to 3 light-years away. The people I'm looking for can come over through parallel universes. Adding all the segments together, 10 days is enough. If space mercenaries come, they still have to go through parallel universes. That's something that can only be done by light-speed spaceship. The energy consumption is huge. The cost of hiring them must not be small. Xino and Doodle asked. Of course it's expensive. For space mercenaries, the cost of hiring a satellite stage warrior is about 1 million to 10 million. For planet stage warriors, it's about 10 million to 100 million. For star stage warriors, it's about 100 million to 1 billion. That's not very expensive, Xino and Doodle said. I'm talking about 3 river dollars. The two were speechless. 3 river dollars and Sky River dollars were 1 to 1,000. This was expensive. So I also have a headache about what kind of person to hire. If it is too expensive, I can't afford it. If the value of the treasure of Leia Star's master is not high, then I will be miserable. Diana herself was an Azura warrior mercenary. She could log into a special website that specialized in accepting mercenary missions. After looking for a while, her eyes suddenly lit up. It's him. Level 7 Planet Warrior, gold-colored 4-star Azura martial artist. Appearance fee is 30 million. You can pay half of the deposit first, and the other half will be paid upon completion of the mission. Reaching the gold-colored 4-star level at a level 7 Planet Warrior. This guy is even stronger than me. I can still accept paying 15 billion for the first time. Diana immediately logged into the dimensional universe and contacted the other party. In the Pacific Ocean, the ruins of the Guam military base. During the Christian era, this place used to be the base of the most powerful country, the United States of America. However, after the Day of God's change, this place fell into the enemy's hands. Surrounded by the endless ocean, there was no way to defend or retreat. This place was not suitable for humans to live in. Lin Zhen's clone was here, standing on the shore. The sky was covered with dark clouds, and a storm was coming. The waves came crashing down violently, and the high waves were more than 10 meters high. Those who were timid would be scared out of their wit. With the edged spear in his hand, Lin Zhen rushed into the middle of the wave. The strong spear light pierced through the seawater, and the energy released from the spear formed a circular hole that was a few meters wide. Rumble! His body flew one round on the surface of the sea. Suddenly, he stepped on the void and stood on the surface of the sea. He waved the edged spear in his hand and formed a spear wall. Immovable mountain. Wave after wave of seawater came crashing down, but they were all blocked by Lin Zhen's immovable mountain. The seawater formed a huge wall of water that was hundreds of meters wide, and it piled up higher and higher. Finally, it formed a water mountain that was hundreds of meters tall. Feeling the increasing pressure on his hand, Lin Zhen released the energy from his dantian and shouted, "Open!" The seawater was blasted apart by the powerful energy, forming a tunnel that was a few kilometers long. The waves split from the left and right, and not a single drop of water landed on Lin Zhen's body. Clap, clap, clap. The sound of applause came from behind. Qing Su, Unbehuai, and Chen Feng Lai walked over. "Brother Lin, congratulations! Congratulations on finally mastering the ocean-treading spear. Your strength has improved again." The one who spoke was Chen Feng Lai. He had the best relationship with Lin Zhen. "Brother Chen, don't laugh at me. My strength is nothing compared to your sword domain." Unbehuai also walked over. "Yes, this brat Chen Feng Lai is indeed abnormal. He actually mastered the domain when he was in the comet stage. Now that he has entered the satellite stage, Qing Su and I are no match for him. Lin Zhen, it doesn't matter if you lose." The few of them had already been cultivating here for 2 days. Other than Lin Zhen cultivating the ocean-treading spear art, the few of them also frequently exchanged blows. Chen Feng Lai, Unbehuai, and Unbehuai were all in the satellite stage. Lin Zhen's clone was in the comet stage. If Lin Zhen didn't use any of his desperate moves, he could fight against Unbehuai and Qing Su, but he couldn't beat Chen Feng Lai's sword domain. Under the suppression of the opponent's domain, the sword energy's lethality multiplied. Moreover, it suppressed the opponent's astral power, so the opponent couldn't use their full strength. Even though Lin Zhen had learned the ocean-treading spear, he still didn't have the confidence to defeat Chen Feng Lai in a normal battle. "I think the Heavenly Star list is going to be rearranged. That old man Yan Chia is still number 1. I'm afraid Chen Feng Lai will be number 2. Lin Zhen, I think you can be number 3. Qing Su commented. Although Lin Zhen was confident that he could beat Chen Feng Lai in a life-and-death battle, not every battle would be a life-and-death battle. He needed to have absolute strength. Chen Feng Lai said modestly, "The power of a domain isn't necessarily invincible. Just like the battle with Yan Huang, my domain was shattered by a cannon. At that time, I felt that if I wanted to comprehend a domain, it would be better to first learn how to shatter someone else's domain. Ching Su curled his lips. Easy for you to say. How can our attacks compare to the main cannon of a spaceship? What kind of attack can break a domain? Stars exploding? Then you'll have to see stars exploding to understand. Okay, let's not talk about this for now. Today, Lin Zhen has successfully comprehended the ocean-treading spear. Everyone, let's take a break and drink some wine tonight to celebrate. I'll go to the bottom of the sea to catch 2 mutant tunas. We'll eat grilled fish tonight. Anbihui said and went to prepare. Chun Feng Lai and Anbihui also went to catch fish. Lin Zhen didn't move. He just stood in the same place. Chun Feng Lai and Ching Su's words were still echoing in his mind. If you want to comprehend a domain, it would be better to first learn how to shatter someone else's domain. What kind of attack can break a domain? Stars exploding? Then you'll have to watch the stars explode before you can comprehend it. I should take this path. Comprehending a domain is not that simple, but destruction is always easier than construction. I can start by breaking someone else's domain and create a new powerful attack. Stars exploding. Naturally, others will never see this process, but I've seen it. I've seen a complete scene from the birth of a planet to its explosion, but I didn't think that I could use it in a move. Lin Zhen stood in the sea and closed his eyes. Everything he saw in the time stone was replaying in his mind like a movie. The birth of a planet, its growth, its evolution, its aging, and its destruction, scene after scene kept flashing. Lin Zhen's hands were also moving along with it. Streaks of astral power leaked out, drawing mysterious trajectories in the air. A planet has a lifespan, and I have all the elements that a planet needs. I only need to grasp the nodes of each era, accelerate time, and quickly complete this process. Then, theoretically, I can simulate the process of a planet's explosion. Although it's just a simulated planet's explosion and can't be compared to a real one, once it succeeds, the core power should be comparable to a small nuclear bomb. But this process is too complicated. Star core to ancient Ming is one stage. Ancient Ming to Archean. Phanerozoic, Mesozoic, Cenozoic. Finally, it becomes a white dwarf and then explode. Takes about 10 stages. For a beginner like me, it would take me at least 10 seconds to complete each stage. Over the past few days, my time acceleration has improved. In a small space, I can accelerate time up to 5 times, but it's still far from enough. I can't even complete a simulation of a planet in 20 seconds. It's useless in battle. But I still have to take it one step at a time. I need time. I need a better cultivation environment. At this time, Chris floated out. Master, if you need a good cultivation environment, you can go to the training ground in the dimensional universe. As long as you're willing to spend money, any kind of environment can be simulated for you. Okay, I'll go to the dimensional universe immediately. As long as I can improve my strength, it's worth it no matter how much money I spend. With a thought, Lin Zhen entered the dimensional universe. When Lin Zhen entered, a figure flashed above the clouds. Blazing Angel Jason was there, protecting Lin Zhen and preventing any danger from approaching Lin Zhen. After a while, the surface of the sea churned. Chun Fenglai and the others came up. Lin Zhen, come and grill the fish. Chun Fenglai called out. Lin Zhen didn't move. After taking a closer look, he couldn't help but sigh. He entered the dimensional universe. Maybe he went to cultivate again. This kid is too hard-working. Anbihui thought for a while. Brother Chen, I think it won't be long before Lin Zhen leaves us in the dust. Chapter 405. Master, this is the paid training ground of the dimensional universe. The fee here is based on one's strength. You are now entering a clone, and the fee is 10 million galaxy dollars per hour during the comet stage. What if my real body comes in? Those below the star realm are unable to use the fee field. However, with your dark star realm, which is equivalent to the meteor stage, the fee is 1 million per hour. It turned out that the difference between each realm was 10 times. Lin Zhen hesitated for a moment. His real body was comprehending elemental energy. In the past 2 days, he had resonated with the wind and thunder atoms. Currently, he was resonating with the earth atoms. He really did not want to interrupt at this time. Can any situation be simulated? Basically, as long as you have seen it with your own eyes, you can simulate it. You can't imagine it out of thin air. Okay, then let's try it for an hour first. The 10 million fee was automatically deducted from the bank card. Lin Zhen entered the virtual space. The only thing in his mind was the evolution and destruction of the planet. Soon, an endless void appeared. In front of him was a huge planet that was changing rapidly. It really works. This is much more intuitive than recalling it in my mind. Lin Zhen was soon immersed in it. This kind of training ground had no distractions in his mind. The process of simulating the planet was also much easier. Even his time acceleration was much faster when he was focused like this. I have to try my best to shorten the evolution process of each era. If I want to display the characteristics of the star explosion, I have to complete the entire process in the shortest time possible. The first goal is to complete it within 10 seconds. Sitting cross-legged in the void, starlight elements wandered and circled around him. Soon, they condensed into a planet core. Time and space changed. 18 seconds later, the small planet that Lin Zhen had transformed into exploded in front of him. A huge shockwave swept past Lin Zhen's body. Lin Zhen's closed eyes did not open, but his fingers moved slightly. It really works. I have the power of time, space, and all the elemental powers. I have also seen the entire process of a planet's transformation. I can actually simulate a planet's explosion. Although it takes a long time, its power is really comparable to a small nuclear bomb explosion. If I suddenly use a star explosion during a battle, it might really be able to break an ordinary domain. Of course, although I'm gradually becoming more proficient, its power will also increase. When it's comparable to a nuclear bomb, or even a hydrogen bomb, I'm afraid that there will be very few domains that can threaten me. However, this starburst isn't without its flaws. It requires a certain amount of space to release it, and the attack is relatively simple. If I can have a domain, I can release starburst continuously within the domain. That would be a truly powerful attack. But this kind of thing can't be rushed. Let's do it bit by bit. Shortening the time is the way to go. Lin Zhen, whose theory had been verified, immediately became 100 times more motivated. Unknowingly, an hour had passed. This time, he directly booked for 5 hours and spent 50 million yuan just like that. Miss Diana, please rest assured. You are also a mercenary and know our rules. As long as the other party's strength has not reached the black hole stage, I can accept all business. I don't doubt that you can kill Lin Zhen, but as far as I know, he has a slave with him. He is a stellar level rank 1, and that person has a domain. You must be careful when you attack. Don't worry, the target I accept to kill is Lin Zhen, not his slave. When the time comes, I will naturally have a way to lure his slave away. I will do it alone. If you don't pay me, I won't kill anyone else. Okay, I will transfer 15 million Three River dollars to you now. How long will it take for you to reach Earth? I will leave as soon as you receive the money. According to the coordinates and route you provided, I should be able to reach Earth within 7 days. You just wait for my good news. Okay, then I will wait for the news of Lin Zhen's death. Diana withdrew from the dimensional universe with a smile on her face. Lin Zhen, oh Lin Zhen, my original purpose of coming to Earth was not to deal with humans. I came for Red Rose's treasure, but you chose to go against me. I'm sorry. I hope that you can be assassinated smoothly, so that we don't have to be too hostile. If the assassination fails, then there is no need for life on this planet to exist. At that time, you will definitely not be able to withstand my anger, and you will not be able to withstand the anger of Sky City. Asterisk 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 asterisk, Miss and Ning, there are people outside making trouble again. Stephen reported to Ning. Are they from Russia and India again? Yes, these people said that the quota they got is too small, and it's not enough for them to share. They asked to meet Linjun to discuss the allocation of quotas. If their demands are not met, they will join the Sky River Empire's army. Let them be. Since they don't want to be humans and want to be dogs, we have to give them a chance. There is no need to see Linjun. He is at a critical moment in his cultivation these 2 days. He can't be disturbed. What if those people want to break in? Stephen, what did you do in the past? Don't tell me you have forgotten everything. Are you still afraid of those people? Haha. I understand. I was mainly worried about the master's hometown, so it was not easy to deal with them. Since Miss and Ning said this, I will let them understand what the authority of nobles is. Stephen left. And Ning was a little worried about Linjun. He has been cultivating for almost a week, and she doesn't know how much progress he has made. Linjun's speed of advancing to the Star Realm is a bit slow. In the past few years, many warlords have advanced, but Linjun said that his true realm hasn't reached the Star Realm yet. She hopes that this time Linjun can succeed. This is an iron mine located near the capital base city. There are old metal tools everywhere. Thousands of years have caused the metal to be covered with moss, but it still can't hide the strong metallic aura here. Linjun sat cross-legged at the top of the mine, and streams of metal chi surged in his body. After many days of cultivation, he only has one last metal atom that hasn't resonated. As long as he completes this, he will have resonated with all the elemental atoms and can advance to the Star Realm. He slightly closed his hands, and a sharp aura surged in from all directions, condensing in his palms and disappearing into his dantian. The metal atoms in the dark star are also gathered by the other elemental atoms, and they are on the verge of resonance. Hoo! Linjun spat out a breath, and the breath condensed into a sword, directly piercing through a metal plate 3 meters in front of him. Success! The elemental atoms in his body fluctuated violently, and all the atoms jumped wildly. The dark star sped up, and the world in his body shook. The surging elemental energy wreaked havoc, showing signs of going out of control. Not good, this elemental energy is too strong. It actually formed an elemental storm. If this continues, the dark star world might not be able to withstand it. Linjun's mind moved, and the 7-star sword flew out. When the 7-star sword appeared, all the excess and violent elemental energy seemed to have found a vent and crazily poured into the 7-star sword. The 7 swords reflected each other's brilliance in the dark star world, and a qualitative change occurred. It rose from a low-grade sacred artifact to a middle-grade sacred artifact, a high-grade sacred artifact, a top-grade sacred artifact. 7 colored light flashed, and the 7-star sword became a divine artifact. But even so, it was still not enough to quell this powerful energy. Linjun's mind moved again, and the 2 spears of his main body and clone, Yin Yang and Edge, both appeared in the dark star world. The 2 spears with purple chi spun in the air, and the elemental storm was immediately absorbed, causing the spears to flicker with light. The elemental energy and purple chi fused, covering the spears with a layer of ancient aura. The quality of the 2 spears also increased again, directly becoming high-grade divine artifacts. Rumble! A breath was spat out from Linjun's mouth. Lightning flashed, and ice and fire coexisted. All the elemental energy spread out from Linjun's body, and a huge airwave flattened the iron mine under him. 30 meters, 50 meters, 100 meters, 300 meters. The 300-meter diameter formed a huge circle, and Linjun was the center of the circle. The surrounding area was flatland. Within this area, the elemental storm whistled, and no one dared to approach. In the dark star world, the mountains and rivers moved, and the sea formed. The planet that was ravaged by the elemental storm looked brand new. Although it had been baptized by the storm, a new world was formed. The primordial universe. The third stage of the dark star world was equivalent to the formation of the primordial universe during the comet period. Powerful energy gathered from the dark star world. As long as Lin Zhen was willing, this energy would enter his dantian, and the cyclone in his dantian would immediately expand, and he could directly ascend to the star realm. He knew that this energy would not only support him to enter the star realm, but it would also allow him to take a big step forward on the path of the star realm. The dantian and the dark star complemented each other. However, Lin Zhen's attention wasn't focused on the changes in the dark star world, nor did he immediately enter the star realm. This was because he felt that within the 300-meter diameter, it was his own world. This is a domain. The elemental storm expanded outward, and it actually formed a domain, just as I'm about to enter the star realm. Great! I was just worrying about the starburst, and now my domain is formed. This way, my starburst will have space to release. With just a thought from Lin Zhen, the domain that he had just formed began to change. Within 300 meters, it turned into a deep night sky. This is my domain, my galaxy domain. Within this range, my speed and strength will be increased, and the enemy's strength will be suppressed. However, these aren't my trump cards. When I master the starburst, I'll be able to release a chain of starbursts within the range of this domain. As long as I have enough time, as my domain gradually expands, theoretically, I'll even be able to release an attack similar to the Milky Way explosion within the domain. Chapter 406. In the universe, there is a mysterious place called a parallel universe. A parallel universe is a microcosm of the universe. When an object reaches the speed of light, it can enter a parallel universe. Parallel universes have no end or boundary, they only correspond to the space coordinates of the real universe. The distance between here and the real universe is 100,000 light-years. For example, it takes 100,000 light-years to travel from one side of the Milky Way to the other side, but in a parallel universe, it only takes 1 year to travel. A spaceship that can withstand the speed of light is impossible to build on Earth, and neither can the Sky River Empire. The Sanjiang Federation has such a spaceship, but it wasn't built by the Sanjiang Federation. Instead, it came from a high-level space civilization, the Fire Kirin Empire. The Fire Kirin Empire has more than 10,000 intermediate-level cosmic countries like the Sanjiang Federation under its jurisdiction. Its scientific and technological strength is extremely strong. Only such a civilization can build a spaceship at the speed of light. In the Sanjiang Federation, those who can build a spaceship at the speed of light are all extraordinary people. Currently, there is a spaceship at the speed of light that is rapidly moving towards Earth. This spaceship is 60 meters long and 30 meters wide. Its overall shape is like a warhead, and its whole body is made of a kind of crystal. If Lin Zhen was here, he would definitely recognize the material of this spaceship. This is an eternal crystal spaceship. In the interstellar space, eternal crystals are equivalent to diamonds on Earth. Its hardness is unimaginably high, and it is also the best decorative material. However, someone actually built a spaceship out of it. Such an eternal crystal spaceship is sold for 10 billion Qilin coins in the Fire Kirin Empire. The Fire Kirin Empire is named after the supergalactic beast, the Fire Kirin. The Fire Kirin is the guardian beast of the Empire, and its image is also on the currency. The purchasing power of this currency is super strong. 10 billion Qilin coins can be exchanged for 10 trillion Sanjiang coins. Only this kind of spaceship built with money can withstand the speed of light in a parallel universe. On this spaceship, there is a woman with long green hair, dancing like a poisonous snake. The woman looks to be in her 20s, but in fact she is very old. Her current appearance is the appearance she had when she entered the star realm. She is wearing an apricot skin-tight suit with 3 gold stars on her chest, proving that she is a 3-star Azura of the Sanjiang Federation. She is holding a slender sword in her hand, gently rubbing her nails with the tip of the sword, trying to grind them into a perfect shape. D. The communicator rang, and the woman accepted the call. Sha, you went out to accept a mission. A man wearing a black robe with 7 red stars on his chest appeared. Yes, uncle, our target this time is the solar system, a small solar system that has just joined the Sky River Empire's territory. Then it shouldn't be too dangerous. However, you must remember that nothing must happen to the spaceship. Our family only has one Eternity Crystal spaceship. I know. I'm always very careful. You know me. I never take on missions that are too difficult. This time, I'm just going to a primitive planet to eliminate a small fry. The travel expenses will be paid by the employer. I can even earn 30 million 3 Jiang dollars. Don't forget to set the automatic return. Yes, I will get off the spaceship as soon as I reach the coordinates of the planet. My radio waves will be connected to the spaceship system. If I fail or the time exceeds 8 hours, the spaceship will automatically enter the parallel universe and return directly to the wormhole of the Demon Moon in the Taurus constellation. Well, with the automatic return, the risk of being captured is basically eliminated. In addition, you have to pay attention to maintain your safety and success rate. Our Anderson family's motto is that once a mission is accepted, it must be completed. If you fail, we will send a second wave of people, but then this business won't be profitable. You have to be careful. Understood. With a flash of radio waves, the image disappeared. The speed of the spaceship gradually slowed down. After falling below the speed of light, it automatically left the parallel universe and entered the real universe. That star is the sun, right? My target should be on that blue planet. Switching from automatic flight to manual flight, the Eternity Crystal spaceship directly left the Earth's atmosphere. Let's enter stealth mode first. Not to mention this primitive planet, even the Sanjiang Federation's radar won't be able to detect the traces of the spaceship. A layer of dark energy was emitted from the outside of the spaceship, making it seem as if the spaceship had blended into the universe. Not only could the radar not detect it, but it could also not be seen by the naked eye. Sha left the spaceship and teleported 10,000 meters forward, breaking into the Earth's atmosphere in just a few moments. My mission target: Linzhen. Location: Asia continent. Huaxia. Capital base city area. Locked on. 300 kilometers south of capital base city. Scanning for life forms around the target. 1 stellar level angel. This should be Linzhen's bodyguard. I need to lure him away. Oh my god. My target, Linzhen, is someone who hasn't entered the star level yet? Is the employer of this mission an idiot? Can't a star level like this be eliminated with a puff of air? This is like giving me free money. Even if this person has some tricks up his sleeves, the huge gap between the realms can't be made up for. Looks like I can complete this mission in half an hour. Sha increased her speed, adjusted her direction in the atmosphere, and dived toward the direction of Huaxia. As she charged, she became 2 people. Doppelganger. Her doppelganger was a stellar level 3 doppelganger. Linzhen's main body was about to enter the star level, and his doppelganger was about to enter the star level because Xiaonuan's body was too strong. On the other hand, Sha's main body was a stellar level 7. It was normal for her doppelganger to be a few levels higher than her main body. A stellar level doppelganger is enough to deal with that bodyguard. My main body will go over and kill Linzhen directly. Sha was cautious and only sent out her doppelganger for normal missions. Even if the doppelganger died, the main body wouldn't be affected too much. However, this mission was too simple. In order to save time, she decided to send her main body and doppelganger out at the same time. As she got closer to the ground, the gap between her main body and her doppelganger widened. Sha's doppelganger was rushing toward Linzhen, but it passed by the seraph to lure him away. Her real body followed closely behind. Once Jason was lured away, she would launch a lightning-fast attack on Lin Junjiang. Lin Jun was sitting cross-legged on the bare ground. The 300-meter radius around him looked like a huge wheat field from the outside. Lin Jun was the only point. However, when one entered this range, they would discover that this was a deep, gloomy starry sky. Stars twinkled all over the starry sky. Every star had been simulated by Lin Jun. Every star was a nuclear bomb that was about to explode. It's almost done. After such a long time of deduction, my control over the starburst has finally improved. The time it takes to condense a starburst has also been reduced to less than 2 seconds. Although this speed is still a little difficult to use in actual combat, I still have room for improvement. If I want to improve, I will need more actual combat training. I should choose to break through to the star level and participate in the Azura arena. It's a pity that I have simulated so many stars this time. It would be great if I had an opponent to test this move on. Since the simulated starburst wouldn't make much progress for the time being, Lin Jun wanted to disperse his galaxy domain. Suddenly, Jason, who was in the clouds, issued a warning. "Master, be careful. A star-level expert is rapidly approaching. They are so fast. They are less than 10,000 meters away. Master, quickly hide." Lin Jun looked up and saw a white holy flame explode in the sky. It was like a bomb that pushed open the clouds. Jason's body was revealed. "Who is it?" "The person who wants your life. Get lost." A female voice sounded from the sky. Then, the two people clashed violently. Swords clashed, creating a loud sound. The clouds retreated as the two people fought. A woman wielded a long sword and fought with Jason at lightning speed. Jason wasn't afraid at all. He waved the divine artifact in his hand and used the power of his domain to launch a fierce counterattack. Fearless, courageous, brave. White halos flashed on Jason's body, increasing his speed and strength greatly. He wasn't at a disadvantage when facing someone with a higher cultivation level than him. Jason is indeed a battle-type angel. He was born to be a fighting machine. That woman is definitely not an ordinary star level. I can't take advantage of her. If this goes on, Jason might even win if he's given some time. Is she the only one on the other side? Her target should be me. Looking at the battle in the sky, Lin Jun had the urge to join the battle. That woman was sure a warrior. However, Lin Jun didn't act rashly. He believed that the opponent wouldn't just charge over rashly with just one person. He had to be wary of the opponent's backup plan. The Dark Star World was operating. Lin Jun's clone was inside the Dark Star World and was on alert at all times. The battle in the sky gradually shifted from the location above Lin Jun's head to more than 10 kilometers to the left. Jason had never encountered such a strong opponent. He had the advantage, and was unknowingly lured away by the opponent. When the two were about 20 kilometers away, another figure descended from the sky at a speed hard to be seen by the naked eye and charged at Lin Jun. Tremble, native of a low-level civilization. With your life and your blood, add some color to my metal. Lin Jun raised his head and looked at the woman descending from the sky. A trace of excitement appeared in his eyes. The distance was close: 1,000 meters, 500 meters, 300 meters, 200 meters, 150 meters. The assassin broke into Lin Jun's Star River domain. Lin Jun could even feel the edge of the opponent's sword. Now! Chapter 407. When Sha was 150 meters away from Lin Jun, she immediately sensed that something was wrong. This was a resplendent starry sky. Planets of all sizes were constantly twinkling, making it hard to tell if they were real or fake. Domain. Sha's eyes narrowed. No wonder someone would spend 30 million 3 Jiang dollars to take this guy's life. He hadn't even reached the star realm, but he had already grasped a domain. A domain wasn't something that just anyone could grasp. Even though Sha was a Venus Azura at the planet's 7th grade, she still hadn't grasped a domain. Furthermore, the earlier one grasped a domain, the more time one would have to cultivate and the more stable it would be in the future. Therefore, the time one grasped a domain was also an important measure of a person's talent. The blazing angel fighting with her clone outside should have grasped a domain when he was at the planet realm. That was pretty good. She knew that the earliest ones were at the peak of the meteor stage. However, she never knew that there was someone who could grasp a domain before entering the star realm. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, she definitely wouldn't have believed it. So what if you've grasped a domain? You must die today. Sha knew that she had to kill Lin Zhen no matter what. If this person was allowed to grow, he would definitely seek revenge on her family. She couldn't bring trouble to her family. A Venus Azura at the planet's 7th grade was almost at the peak of the planet realm. Even if Lin Zhen had a domain, the huge gap in strength couldn't be crossed. After all, in Sha's eyes, the other party was only at the star realm. The slender sword danced in the air, and a huge energy sword aura streaked across the sky. The space trembled, and Lin Zhen's domain that had just formed actually showed signs of collapsing. Haha! You must have just grasped it. This kind of unstable domain, in addition to your pitifully weak Dantian Qi, can be easily broken by me. Lin Zhen still didn't move, but the dark star energy in his body burst forth. A dark star that had reached the primordial universe could emit the star energy of the comet stage. With a strong influx of star energy, the starry sky immediately stabilized. Comet stage? What's going on? Sha's pupils constricted. She had actually seen wrongly. This wasn't a star realm, but a comet stage. Sure enough, there's a way. I didn't think that such an aboriginal planet could produce someone like you. However, the comet stage isn't enough. You'll still die. Her feet moved, and the distance between them didn't seem to exist at all. Her long sword slashed towards Lin Zhen. Retreat. With a thought from Lin Zhen, a spatial crack appeared in her path. Space Slicer. The spatial crack appeared so suddenly that Sha's speed was too fast. In her haste to dodge, the green hair on her head was sliced off. This caused her to break out in a cold sweat. She had originally thought that Lin Zhen was just an ant, but she had never expected that this ant would have heaven-defying strength. Those sharp fangs and claws could even bite her back. Putting away the contempt in her heart, Sha floated in the starry sky. She was about to bring out her true strength. Lin Zhen didn't want to see her methods. He was waiting for the moment Sha stopped, allowing him to use his starburst, which he wasn't very familiar with. Sha thought that the hovering planets were illusions and had no practical use. However, she didn't know that they were hovering nuclear bombs. Without waiting for Sha to react, Lin Xin activated the white dwarf star closest to Sha and caused it to explode. Boom! The white dwarf's explosion was a disaster. All matter contracted rapidly, and was then violently released. With the planet's core as the point of explosion, it spread through the starry sky. Sha was caught off guard, and she was sent flying by the huge impact. Ugh! Yellow radiance flickered on the surface of her body. A protective divine weapon soft armor had blocked most of the impact. However, even a divine weapon couldn't completely block the explosion of a planet. The huge impact swept past her, and she spat out a mouthful of blood. The more powerful an expert was, the more difficult it was to be injured. The stronger the body, the more difficult it was to be injured. Recovering from injuries was not as easy as recovering from a weak body. It had been a long time since Sha suffered such injuries. If it wasn't for the divine weapon armor protecting her body, she would have died. These planets, can they all explode? She looked at the starry sky around her in disbelief. Hundreds of planets hovered in the air. If they could all explode, the consequences would be unthinkable. Without waiting for her to react, Lin Xian's mind moved again, and a planet turned into a meteor and blasted towards Sha Sha's back. Sha Sha hastily tried to dodge, but the planet exploded not far from her. Rumble! These things were too difficult to dodge. She knew that they were coming, but the area of effect of the explosion was too large. There was no way she could dodge them. Fortunately, she was prepared this time. The impact of the planet did not cause such great damage. But even so, her face was still pale, and her injuries had worsened a bit. Lin Zhen did not give this woman any chance to catch her breath. The planets shot toward Sha Sha like shooting stars chasing after the moon. She had no idea how to deal with such a small planet. Every time she tried to teleport away, Lin Zhen would use his mental strength to interrupt her. She swung her sword and shattered the planets. However, the impact of the explosion would still hurt her. Colorful explosions sounded in the starry sky. The target of all the planets was Sha Sha. It was as if nuclear bombs were exploding around her. Although she was a level 7 planet warrior, although she was a gold star Azura, and although she was protected by a divine weapon, she could not withstand such a violent explosion. After being hit 7 to 8 times, Sha Sha's face was as white as paper. Blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. However, the fear in her heart was far greater than her injuries. Not good. If this continues, I might even die. I am a level 7 planet warrior. How can I be defeated by a comet stage? She still wanted to complete her mission. She rushed toward Lin Zhen. As long as she killed Lin Zhen, the star core domain would naturally be broken. Just as she rushed over, Lin Zhen teleported. Appearing at the edge of the domain, Lin Zhen pointed. Go! More than a dozen planets swept past the sky, whistling as they approached. The rumbling sounds were endless. After being hit continuously, Sha Sha could no longer hold on. The divine weapon armor on her body was blown to pieces. She spat out a mouthful of golden blood. Lin Zhen had just comprehended the star explosion. He was not strong enough and did not grasp the timing of the explosion well. He only destroyed the divine weapon. Otherwise, she would have become a corpse. After losing the divine weapon, Sha Sha did not dare to stay any longer. She turned around and flew out of the domain. This mission could not be completed. She had to return immediately. How could Lin Zhen let her go? A string of planets followed behind her and exploded violently behind her. Sha Sha was like a stuntman. Behind her was a series of explosions. She kept flying in front, but the power of the explosions was too strong. The stuntman was blasted into a bloody mess. Sha Sha screamed. Her body was smashed into pieces by the explosions. Lin Zhen thought he had killed her. He paused for a second, but then he realized something was wrong. The one that died was his avatar. In the distance, Jason was flying over. When Sha Sha wanted to escape, her avatar left the battlefield and took a sword strike from Jason. It was injured and came back to support the main body. In the moment of life and death, her avatar died. Her main body took the opportunity to escape. Just as she was about to teleport out of the domain, a spear stabbed at her. Lin Zhen. Sha Sha did not understand why Lin Zhen would appear here. She could only wave her sword to block. At this moment, a trace of hope appeared in her heart. If she could kill Lin Zhen here, she could recover some of her losses. However, Lin Zhen's spear was so strange. It suddenly accelerated midway and pierced her lower abdomen. Sha Sha gritted her teeth. She was an Azura warrior. She had experienced countless life and death battles. This injury was not enough to make her retreat. She wanted to kill Lin Zhen before the blazing angel arrived. She grabbed Lin Zhen's spear with one hand and swung her sword. Powerful star power rushed over. Lin Zhen, die. A spear pierced her arm from behind, causing her to let out a blood-curdling scream. She turned around and saw that the person behind her was Lin Zhen. You have an avatar too. You know it too late. Stay here. The Lin Zhen in front of her was the avatar. He exerted strength in his arms and pulled the edged spear out of her lower abdomen. He stabbed at her throat again. Behind her, Lin Zhen's yin-yang spear was like a rainbow piercing the sun. Every strike was aimed at the spot she had to protect. The main body was in the comet stage and the avatar was in the level 9 comet stage. The two spears flew up and down like two poisonous dragons. Their coordination was flawless. Countless spear shadows covered Sha's entire body. Under the time acceleration, they appeared and disappeared unpredictably. Sha, who was already heavily injured, could not adapt to the sudden acceleration of two spears. She relied on her powerful star power and outstanding reflexes to dodge. However, her body was still covered in wounds. From Jason's point of view, two Lin Zhens and two guns were flashing around her body like ghosts. They attacked her from all angles and blood was drawn. The woman's body was like a sieve. Every second, more than 10 wounds would appear on her body. Sha's body trembled mechanically a few times, and blood spurted out from her body into the sky like a fountain. Lin Zhen's main body and avatar exerted strength at the same time. The yin-yang edge spears pierced her shoulders. The spears pushed forward and nailed her to the ground. At this time, Sha's mind was scattered. She was on the verge of death. Her wounds could not be healed. Chapter 408. Sha had no resistance at this moment. She instinctively let Lin Zhen's soul lock succeed, and muttered a few words. After speaking, her head tilted and she died completely. Lin Zhen turned his head to look at the distant space, and felt that it was a pity. Now that Sha was dead, the Eternity Crystal spaceship automatically returned. Furthermore, Sha had just said that her mission had failed, and that the Anderson family would send assassins to deal with him again. "Help me check the background of the Anderson family," Lin Zhen immediately ordered Chris. "Very soon, Master." After about 3 minutes, Chris said, "Master, the Anderson family is one of the 8 major families in the Sanjiang Federation. The family's address is on planet Tianyao, the capital of the Sanjiang Federation. The family head, Anderson, is a super expert in the nebula stage. The family places great importance on the training of their children. Everyone is an expert in the Azura arena and is very famous among the mercenaries in the Sanjiang Federation. If a mission fails, they will unconditionally continue a second and third time until the mission is completed." It seems that what Sha said is true. She has failed and there will be stronger people coming. Lin Zhen thought silently. According to the mercenaries' convention, if a planet stage expert failed, it would be time for a stellar stage expert to take action. If a stellar stage expert failed again, the other party might even send a black hole stage expert. In the end, the Anderson family head might even take action personally. Black hole stage and nebula stage experts. These were two stages that Lin Zhen could not resist at all. Therefore, he only had one chance, which was when the next opponent came. Even the Anderson family only had one Eternity Crystal spaceship. If he could snatch the other party's spaceship, it would not be so easy for the Anderson family to come to Earth a third time. If they could not travel through the parallel universe, it would take at least 2.5 years for them to come to Earth. Lin Zhen could deal with them calmly. However, the Anderson family was very cautious and protected the Eternity Crystal spaceship very well. Once the assassins failed, the spaceship would automatically return. When Lin Zhen asked Sha about her spaceship's location, she told him that it was parked in space. This location was randomly chosen, but she came from the Taurus constellation's demon moon. Lin Zhen remembered the locations of many wormholes, especially the ones near Earth in his previous life. He remembered them clearly. Before the wormhole on Mars was discovered, other people came to Earth through the demon moon in the Taurus constellation, including the fleet of the Sky River Empire. A light-speed spaceship coming from the Taurus constellation is close to 3 light-years away. If it were to travel through the parallel universe, including some acceleration and deceleration, as well as the process of transmitting information, it would take about 10 hours to arrive. If my black pearl were to depart from Earth, it would take about 6 hours to reach Mars. After reaching Aurora, it would go through the wormhole to Emerald Star, and then from Emerald Star to Demon Moon in the Taurus constellation through the wormhole. 8 hours would be enough. If everything goes well, I may be able to intercept the Eternity Crystal spaceship when it leaves the parallel universe and appears outside the wormhole on the Demon Moon. But it's not easy to capture a Eternity Crystal spaceship. I have to prepare well. If I fail the second time, then the third time when the Anderson family comes, I'm afraid it will be a disaster for me. I can't be careless the second time. If it's a star-level Shura warrior, I won't be able to resist them with my current strength. It will take at least 7 or 8 days for the Eternity Crystal spaceship to return to the Sanjiang Federation, and it will take half a month to go back and forth. Their efficiency won't be high enough to send people immediately. Coupled with the investigation time, the next enemy should arrive in about 20 days. I still have 20 days to prepare. As for who hired the mercenaries this time, Lin Jin knew very well. The only possibility is Diana. No one else on Earth has the ability and financial resources to do so. Chris, help me check again. How can I capture a spaceship? Well, a light-speed spaceship. Chris checked for a while and told Lin Jin the result. Master, it's very difficult to capture a light-speed spaceship while it's moving. Even if you launch a light beam attack, it will only be equal to the speed of the other spaceship, unless the speed of the other spaceship is lower than the speed of light. Tell me the specific method. The specific method is to use another large spaceship, install a large trapping net, catch it when it slows down, then drag it into the cabin of the large spaceship. Check the price of the trapping net. Chris quickly gave feedback. The trapping net in the Sky River Empire basically doesn't meet the requirement. According to the condition of the spaceship mentioned by Master, you have to at least buy an alloy trapping net from the Sanjiang Federation, and the lowest price is 130 million river coins. Lin Jin closed his eyes and calculated. The price of 130 million river coins is 100 billion Sky River coins. This kind of trapping net is much more expensive than the Black Pearl. Thinking about it, it's normal. A net that can catch a Eternity Crystal spaceship can't be too cheap. However, this price is beyond Lin Jin's range of affordability. He currently has more than 6 billion Sky River coins in his hand. I need money, a lot of money. Lin Jin muttered silently. At this time, Jason came to his side and whispered, Master, Diana took a lot of people to the City of Ancient Gods. They seem to be looking for something on the 4th floor. Got it, let's get ready. I will break through to the Star Realm today and then we will go to the City of Ancient Gods together. He has no choice but to break through. The power brought about by the advancement of the Dark Star Realm can no longer be suppressed. Lin Jin's Dantian, which has been compressed 10 times, has long been overflowing. However, the location he chose was not the Earth, but the Moon. On the opposite side of the Moon, Lin Jin won't be detected by any radars or scanners. It's the safest place for him. Lin Jin flapped his lightning wings and rose into the sky. Now, the lightning wings are 20 times the speed of sound, increasing his speed by more than 7,000 meters per second. Coupled with the speed of Lin Jin's clone, he can fly more than 15,000 meters per second. The distance between the Moon and Earth is hundreds of thousands of kilometers. For Lin Jin, flying and teleporting, he can reach it in at most 2 hours. Jason followed behind Lin Jin. With the blazing angel's wings, he could barely keep pace with Lin Jin. Seeing his master step on light and electricity, advancing at high speed in space, Jason was secretly shocked. 1 hour and 50 minutes later, Lin Jin's feet stepped on the Moon's soil. Coming to the opposite side of the Moon, Lin Jin chose a ring-shaped mountain and sat on the mountain peak, facing the vast space, preparing to break through. He took a deep breath and looked at his Dantian Chi. The cyclone has already started to condense on its own. It's time. It's been more than 7 years since I was reborn. I can finally break through. Only when my main body enters the star realm will my strength truly increase by leaps and bounds. Now that I have gathered elemental energy and mastered time and space, my strength is already worlds apart from my previous life. After advancing to the star realm, my clone will be able to participate in the Azura battlefield battle. Slowly closing his eyes, Lin Zhen began the most important breakthrough. Miss Diana, please provide us with everything you know about Lin Zhen. On the screen of Sky City's control panel, a dignified middle-aged man was talking to Diana. Mr. Anderson, I've sent you the information. Everything I know about Lin Zhen is in there. Can you guarantee that your information is accurate? You should know that if you provide us with wrong information, it may lead to a misjudgment and we may not be able to kill Lin Zhen in the end. We will suffer losses and you won't be able to get your commission back. Of course, I can guarantee that Lin Zhen looks like a Star Realm cultivator, but he is actually at the peak of the meteor stage. Moreover, he has a constant guard. I don't know much more than that. This is all I know. I understand. This time, our family's Shasha died in a mission. However, we promise that we will continue to send out assassins until the mission is completed. The second batch of people will arrive on Earth within 20 days. I hope you can hurry up. I don't have much time to wait. Diana hung up the call and called the art courtyard again. Baron Yixin, haven't you found the World Stone yet? Not yet, Earl. We have killed all the monsters on the 4th floor of the City of Ancient Gods, but the World Stone is too difficult to find. You can take a look at the scene. With that, the camera switched to the inside of the City of Ancient Gods. The 4th floor is a huge desert, with more than a dozen pyramids standing in the middle of it. Originally, there were a lot of mutant monsters here, but they were wiped out by the army of the Sky River Empire. According to our judgment, the World Stone may be in one of the pyramids in this desert. We are gradually checking them one by one. As you know, every stone here may be a World Stone. Each pyramid is composed of at least tens of millions of stones. It is very difficult to check them one by one. It will take about a month. Try to move as fast as possible. I am worried that Lin Zhen will apply to become the Lord of this starry sky. Once he becomes the Lord, we will have to evacuate from here. My lord, you can also apply for it. As long as you become the Overlord, wouldn't we be able to chase Lin Zhen out justifiably? I can't do that. I already have a fief. It's very difficult to apply for another fief. What's more, this planet already has a noble. It's impossible to apply for another one. Then what should we do? Yixin was a little flustered. Don't be afraid. You just need to find it as soon as possible. Although I can't become the Lord, I have already sent a request to the Empire. Within 20 days there will be no Lord on this planet. I have another identity, the Golden Shura of the Shura Field. The Empire will have to be wary of me. Unless Lin Zhen also obtains the same identity, the Empire won't help either side. What about 20 days later? It will take me about a month to explore all the pyramids here.